So, you lovely people, thank you very much for being okay with actually playtesting this fucking system. I promise you it will not be as bad as you probably expect it to be.
As long as there's no Yoda, that's okay.
There will be an absolute moratorium on Yoda. I promise you that much. In fact, something to bring up right now, as far as safety tools go for the game, I prescribe the whole lines veil system. So naturally, the setting this is going to be in, which is early 50s Soviet bloc, will definitely have subject matter that might be a bit unpleasant. If at any time you're like, I would very much rather we didn't talk about this, or we skipped this, then you can just say, I'd like to draw a line under it, which means nope. Or throw a veil over it, which means I'm okay, but could we just, like, skip past this? We don't want to go into it in too much detail. So, for example, sex scenes, or torture. You might be like, that can happen? I don't want it to be, like, gratuitous detail.
I want like second by second plays in the sex scenes.
Listen, there's no.
Roll for penetration. God damn it.
I want.
Crit fail, you go in the ear. Anyway.
No.
Oh god.
Your dick comes off at the hinge. Reroll.
If there's no intimate detail, the session's getting derailed. Am I right?
Imagine a satisfying pop noise as it comes up.
Oh no!
Oh dear God.
No, I appreciate that you guys have a fairly good tolerance for weird shit, since you're all coming from a particular server where weird shit is the fucking norm.
Yes.
I mean, if it's portable at that point, that can really bring a new meaning to go fuck yourself.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Anyway, fucking hell. So this is going to be kind of a session 0 / introduction to the world, and going to give your characters some space to role play and do some things. And to begin with, I'd just like to read a little something which should introduce the setting fairly well.
Okay.
May 1st, 1953. Feodosia, Ukraine. The secret city of Yugaslevok is waking up after a long slumber. Menials are reporting for meetings that will outline their duties for the forthcoming months. Rank-and-file citizens are preparing to switch their stuffy winter garb for lighter, more comfortable and colourful spring wear, flirting with some of the more unusual fashions if the mood takes them. The day also brings with it the promise of Workers' Day, an early holiday for many citizens not performing essential duties. Patriotic marches are being planned for the evening, along with speeches that many are expected to attend, if not exactly listen to. Many are simply looking forward to the promise of roaring bonfires out in the tundra, roast pork, beer and vodka flowing freely well into the small hours. However, all change comes with consequences. The world outside of Yugoslevok has drastically changed, and now it's down to those in the know to see how that will affect the people under their care.
Don't mind that.
The laughter is concerning.
He's not. That's my partner. He's doing something else.
Fair enough. So, the year is 1953. We are in a Soviet bloc satellite state, and to just fully explain this to people, a secret city was something implemented by the USSR where nuclear stockpiles, independent research and data collation, the mining of uranium would be held within closed cities with almost total information and media blackouts. The people inside would often live very well. In fact, they would often enjoy a standard of living far above the average member of the communist kind of bloc at that point, in exchange for a drastic loss of freedoms and a fairly totalitarian restriction on their ability to move and even communicate with the outside world. Indeed, Yugoslevok is, or has been, totally isolated from the outside world since winter. And it's only with the arrival of word from the outside, of a fresh convoy of supplies, that any information of the outside world is actually arriving in the city for the first time. So, I would just like to quickly go around and have you guys introduce your characters, if that would be okay. Starting with games, since you are at the top of the chat.
All right. I am a university professor from Milwaukee named Robert Kramer, who has a cocaine problem and has studied ancient magic and dark arts. He was coerced into working for the Soviets to keep his practices secret, so he's been brought in to work on a secret project. What the secret project is, he doesn't really know shit. But the cover story would be that he's a defector for the glory of the motherland and has ancestral ties to Russia, wanting to help them out in any way possible. Would that be good, or should I go into like the look?
I was going to say, if you want to do a physical description, that's fine.
Sure.
What are the playbooks you're using? Just so we got that on record.
The playbooks I'm using are the Traveler and the Blue Blood.
Groovy. And yeah, just a quick physical description's fine.
Um, let's see. The look is shortcut, brown hair, glasses, has a bit of a stubble, looks bookish, lean, and skinny, and has dark circles under his eyes. And for the most part, his disguise is inconspicuous local clothes. Pretty much anything he can get his hands on.
I overthrew these capitalist pigs and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
True that, dude.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Thank you very much. Nameless, do you want to introduce your character?
Yeah. My character is named Alexei Volkov. He is an apparatchik, which is a sort of bureaucratic, I don't know, everyman who not everyman, jack of all trades who is moved from department to department, given strange new jobs and various other sort of paperwork type stuff. He's on the other side of things, he's a shaman using the left-hand playbook. He discovered that he had the strange power to bridge the spirit world and the physical world when he was somewhat young. He never really sort of dove into it, and recently his powers have been manifesting on a larger scale. He helps around in the local Soviet city by exorcising spirits or making contact with them or helping them pass on or whatever. Though he is not too keen about this. He would prefer to just be a regular guy doing his stuff. He came to the Soviet city just as part of... he was looking for just opportunity. And so he transferred there, and then his power started manifesting a little harder, and he was worried about that. As far as his look goes, average height and build, with dark hair, a full beard, and although he doesn't have dark circles under his eyes, he does look fairly worn and how shall we say, he's an old soul, that Alexei. And what was the last thing? I think that's it, really.
No, that's good. That's very, very good. Thank you. And Steve, would you care to introduce your boy?
So I am playing as the Hermit playbook, and my name is Gregor. Just Gregor. And I'm basically homeless, living on the outskirts of the city, fending for myself kind of deal. I like to be left alone usually, do my own thing. And my kind of look, per se, is just sort of, white, down to my shoulders, kind of long hair, pretty bushy beard, and just kind of wearing rags. The fashionable rags. And the other playbook I'm using is the Outsider. So the deal with that is just kind of, I'm just a being brought into this world, and my origins are kind of unknown even to me, and my sort of form as that being is just a writhing mass of tentacles.
All right.
Yes, come from the hentai dimension.
I was going to try and make a joke like that, but I wasn't fast enough.
You must be faster than that to beat me when it comes to shitty humour. The fastest puns in the West. Cool, thank you very much. So those are our three main characters introduced. Now, something that I keep fucking up, and I'm going to try and get right this time around, is the mechanic of bonds. Now, bonds are something that can evolve and can be created as a game goes on and as we meet new characters, but by default they are there to give us a reason as to why these characters know each other. So if you have had a chance to have a look, and it's further up in the chat, you'll see the bonds list. Now the way this works is each of you will have a bond with each other. In theory, a bond can actually exist between multiple people, so all three of you could actually just have the same bond together. But to keep things a little fresh and to keep things a little different, I would appreciate it if we kind of gave everyone some slightly different bonds between one another. The idea is that these shape how you're reacting, how you interact with each other, as well as giving some mechanical incentives to interact with one another. There'll be a thing with each bond, which is a thing which activates under certain circumstances. So, say for example, comrade, where you are united by a common belief, a goal, or an ideal that you're both committed to realizing. Once per session, you can add both your stats together for a single roll. That can mean, rather than just the normal +1 you get from assisting, you could throw +2 in. You could combine their +2 and your +2, which could get very hilariously broken very quickly. But that's the point of it. Other things like teacher and student have a dynamic where the teacher can tell the student to do something, and if the student does it successfully, the student gets experience and the teacher gets a bonus on the next move. So, with everyone hopefully having a look at this, I feel like I would like you all to be in like a triangle so I could kind of visualize where all the connections are going. But from what we've just talked about, the characters we've just been introduced to, does anyone see a bond or something interesting they'd like to make with another character?
Do the bonds have to be known? Can I have a bond but hide it to myself, or hide it for myself?
These ones, generally speaking, should be fairly open.
Okay. I will not make one of you an enemy and not the other a lover, then not tell which is which.
I mean, I would say one thing very quickly, which is that enemy really isn't something that will last more than a single session. Like, unless you are both committed to staying enemies, it will boil over to becoming a rivalry or just sputter out.
Okay, you're both enemies.
I'm here to kill you both. I like how Steve has immediately tried to make a murder hobo.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. I don't necessarily know what bonds I would have per se. I feel like my character would not really know anybody. Maybe except his like handler.
Well, here's the thing, is that from a GM's perspective, it became very difficult to kind of start shunting multiple characters together unless I got really contrived with shit.
Mm-hmm.
And this doesn't necessarily have to be a kind of, like, if someone's your friend, it doesn't have to be a, oh, you're my best mate, we've known each other for decades. It could just be like, you're a co-worker, you're a friendly acquaintance, you know each other and you are, like, aware of each other. Like, for example, Alexei and, I keep forgetting which alternate, and Kramer, or probably is known to him as Andre.
Yeah.
You could know each other as friends, or even comrades. You could be like, even if at the very least, like, it's maybe not a completely genuine feeling between each other. Like, you're both communists. Cough.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. You know, logically speaking, I don't see why not. Yeah, fuck it. I'll take it. Oh, jeez, Steve.
What was that, Steve?
They're both my enemies.
Are you actually going to have them as both your enemies?
Yeah.
Can I ask why?
Well, big part of it, I think it'd be funny, but if they're only lasting this session anyway, then why not?
Like, if you want them to be rivals, like, if you dislike them, and you want a kind of one-upmanship around them, that's perfectly valid. That's what the rival thing is for. Enemies is like, you want to fuck them up. And in that case, I would ask the question of, why haven't you done it sooner?
Waiting for the right moment. No, I think I want to start out as enemies and then work to rivals. That seems like a good progression.
In which case, I would really like to know why you consider these two guys enemies. Is it because they are supernatural like you? Do you see them as like a threat?
Or do you see everyone as an enemy at first?
Yeah. It's well, like being homeless, a hobo. Everyone's my enemy already, basically.
Oh.
Yes, but I don't know about homeless people physically assaulting people on the street.
Gotta eat something.
Steve, I will ask you I'm saying this genuinely. I've had playtests where people have tried to break the fucking game. Please don't. I appreciate it from a stress test perspective.
Let's just go with comrades, then.
No. I mean, no. Legitimately, if you want to be enemies with these two guys, if there is genuinely, if you want outward hostility between these two guys, that's fine. It will fizzle out pretty quickly, I'm imagining. I just need a reason as to why.
Oh.
I mean not just resentment. I mean, this has to be a kind of, I want these people to either get fucking hurt, get fucking arrested, or get fucking dead.
Maybe we have encountered Steve in the past? Perhaps?
Yeah, like, you could straight up consider both these guys legitimate threats.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily want them dead, to be honest. I just kind of want that rivalry.
Alright, yeah, Rival seems like a decent one then.
So, if it's gonna lead there anyway, just start out as a rival.
He always has the illest times laughed. I hate it.
That's fair enough. So between Greg, we have animosity against the world in general, but against these two fuckers specifically. Just kind of impressive. And then between Kramer and Volkov, we've got comradeship. So
Yes.
some kind of mutual recognition that you're both people kind of fucking downtrodden by the system, and maybe you don't hang out, but you're at least you know each other.
I like to believe that Alexei sees everyone as a colleague or as a comrade until they prove otherwise.
Until they are outed as a fucking traitor, at which point they are shot by the KVD.
Exactly.
Fantastic. I love it to bits. Cool. So, with that all sussed out, we shall begin with some vignettes with each character in turn, just to kind of see how your morning goes, because we are setting this entire first section on May the 1st, specifically the morning. The beginning of May is considered by many people around here in the Ukraine to be the beginning of spring in general, where the thaw really has set in earnest, the days are getting longer, the breeze is getting a touch warmer, things are starting to bud out and blossom from beneath the waste and the rot. Life is beginning to return, even to this fairly oppressive concrete maze of a city. And alas, for a lot of people, even on a day like this, there have to be necessary things that have to be done. Oops. Alexei, what's your morning routine like as an apparatchik?
Alexei gets up at the appropriate time. And the first thing...
Like woken up by your alarm clock, or kind of wakes up just before it?
A little bit of both, I would think. He wakes... I would assume he would start to, now that he has a routine, so he's kind of become used to it right now, so he would probably wake up either around the same time as the alarm clock or slightly before, and then just kind of lie there staring at the ceiling till it goes off and he has to get up. But once he arrives at the office, he gets his coffee, and he just kind of, if he whoever he sees, he gives some acknowledgement to. Good morning. How are you? Have a good day. I'll see you around. And but mostly he would what do you call it? He would probably just sit and start getting to work, getting to whatever files he needs to work on, or report into his supervisor to see whatever new job he has. And I feel like he would be a public transit kind of guy.
No, that's fair enough. So as you're kind of arriving, and this building, this big office building where you have slaved away pretty much relentlessly day in and day out since you've arrived in this city, it's in good condition for a Soviet-made building. The paint is fairly fresh, the lights are clean, but there is just this slight dampness, this kind of almost pervasive, just mildew kind of feeling that kind of runs over your tongue, kind of cloys up in your nostrils. It's something that the coffee helps wash away at least a little bit. And as you arrive and you're getting your papers together, you're waiting for your turn at the coffee pot. One of your co-workers, Vanya, who is also working in your general department, kind of looking a bit more bristling and buzzing with energy, even without the coffee in him, taps you on the shoulder. Alexei, how's it going?
Good morning.
Once again, you look like you fell out the wrong side of bed, down the stairs, and out into the street. Are you not excited? It is spring. It is the first day. We're going to have workers' day tonight.
Yes. I'm not quite there yet. We have the day to work ahead of us. Maybe once we're closer to the end of the day, I'll get my energy up.
Well, you better. I mean, there's going to be pretty girls. There's going to be free booze. I mean, it's going to be a great time. You can kind of see the energy he's radiating is already getting picked up by a couple of the other guys behind him. The younger especially. The older guys are looking at this with a certain level of, oh, for fuck's sake, it's too much of your shit. But you almost hear it. It's not quite woo spring break, but it's very nearly.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And yeah, Vanya just kind of flashes you this big beaming grin, reaches over your shoulder towards the coffee pot, just not really paying attention, just like, yeah, because I've got a line on a couple of girls. I was thinking, well, you're always hanging around by yourself. Maybe we go out to one of the bonfires. I see if I can introduce you to some people. I think I've got this lovely girl. I think she'd be right up your alley. Works in the butcher's shop. She can deadlift a pig like no one I've ever seen. Yeah, I think you need a lovely woman to sweep you off your feet.
Well,
is this making you feel uncomfortable?
It's certainly making Alexei a little like, ooh, social interaction. I don't know. Drinking makes me lose, I don't know how comfortable he would be with like. Hang on, how do?
I would just like.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'd like to ask: are you trying to kind of palm him off, or are you just kind of going, "Yeah, great, I'll see you there," and kind of just play along with him?
I'm gonna play along with him.
Okay, could you roll me 2d6 and add your fake?
Okay, 2d6 plus 1. It's exclamation point, not forward
Oh,
slash,
hang
right?
wait a second. Oh, you're not leveraging your rep. Never mind. Yes, so this would just be with plus fake. Cool. So a 7 is a partial success. That means that you will get kind of what you want, but there will be consequences, or I can offer you kind of a devil's bargain.
Okay.
And you know what? I think a devil's bargain sounds a bit of fun. So yeah, as you're just kind of making nice, kind of chatting and filling in the gaps as he speaks, Vanya just keeps on kind of putting more and more details on your lap until it's pretty inescapable that he's really just trying to use you as like a wingman to get in with this girl's sister.
Okay.
And it's really going to come down to, if you're in, he's kind of going to need you to commit. So I'm going to say you can play along with this and keep him happy, but you're going to be obligated to get swept up in this. Or you could keep a certain level of distance, but he would be a little bit put off by that.
You know what? Alexei always wants to help people out. So once he gets the what do you call it? Once he gets the vibe of that he needs a wingman, Alexei he'll encouragingly commit to at least showing up for a bit, hoping that he hasn't forgotten any other work that he has to do at any point. So
no, that's fair. And yeah, Vanya just tremendously pleased with all of this. Just kind of claps an hand on both of your shoulders and goes, "Comrade, you are truly a friend and a brother in arms." And just doesn't quite kiss you on the cheek, but just seems to very much be buzzing at this.
Yeah. Spasibo.
And yeah, Vanya doesn't really even listen to it years ago, where he just kind of sweeps up his coffee, grabs a couple of files, and zips off back towards his desk. And above all of this, kind of as you are kind of left finally to your devices again, as you're getting everything sussed out, you see Sobolov, your supervisor, sweeping into the main office with a very stony expression on his face. And he waits a little bit of time to allow everyone to get their things together and get seated. But once you're all at your desks and preparing to start work, he steps up to kind of, not quite a podium, but he definitely has like a certain raised area he can stand at to kind of address everyone within the office.
Okay.
Comrades, now I must inform you that today is due to be a half day, but I don't expect to see half your effort and half your work. We are due to have our first shipment in from the outside world, and I have no doubt, I do not need to remind you, that we need to itemize and ensure that everything is in order. We are expecting a very important arrival from the NKVD. This guy is sounding more German the more I talk. As well as a visit from a member of the party, and I cannot stress to you how important it is that everything is correct when he arrives. So, before any of you punches out today, I expect to see your entire caseload itemized and on my desk. Is that understood?
There
is a
couple of I assume the whole group is just like yeah.
almost in synchronization. This is a standard dressing down by Silverdov. And yeah, he with a grunt of barely maintained acquiescence, just sits down at his desk and starts stamping things. And we'll pull back from you, and we will head out across the city. And indeed, as Sobolov said, it is only a half day, and it has had a rather pronounced effect upon the people of the city. Those who are working essential jobs, firefighters, ambulance drivers, even street sweepers, they're all doing their jobs, but there's a certain amount of apprehension, excitement, where they're just waiting for the opportunity to down tools, run out into the streets, and, well, act like fucking idiots, as is the way. quite a few of them are actually walking around with little red scarves or dashes of additional colour on their clothing, as if they're already kind of getting into costume even as they work. And as we pull across the city with the museum, the plaza, the cinema, this city again being remarkably resplendent with places of culture and places of entertainment, we pull towards the apartment blocks. We pull towards the main residential areas for the rank and file, but also, in some degree, some of the slightly nicer areas of the city. And in particular to one apartment at the top of one of these apartment blocks, which is unlike any other. Andre, or maybe I should say, Mr. Kramer.
Yeah.
Describe the disgusting American luxury that is your apartment.
Well,
The
I'll tell
filthy
you what.
capitalist decadence.
I'll tell you what. The Soviets, they don't exactly, they don't exactly approve of a lot of the stuff that I would have. So the normal American apartment would probably be, not literally, obviously, but it would probably be cut in half. You won't have all the American, like, exotic paintings and all that shit that all the fucking Americans would have. You won't have really a record player. You won't have anything good to eat from America.
I'd imagine you'd have like a jukebox. I imagine you have like a record player, but probably not like a jukebox.
Yeah.
Like you could
have a couple of
you could probably
records
get Twinkies, but not like a pot roast.
Yeah, exactly. You're not given the best stuff, but you make out with what you have because you know it's better than what some other people who would have been in your position would have had, if that makes sense.
That's fair enough. And contrasting to Volkov's morning, how is your morning routine?
Well, my morning routine is usually I wake up, I stare in the mirror for 30 minutes, contemplating where my life has gone. I take a little sniff of the good stuff, and then I get on my jacket. I start walking out, and how early would you say they start? Like 3 in the morning? I'd say start walking out to wherever I work.
I
Probably.
mean, the thing is, work doesn't really start till you get there. Like there can be people running around. Like people are running around after you in the lab or in the wherever you're working, but generally they can't actually do anything until you're there. So you do have the ability to set the scale of the day.
Oh. Well, in that case, since my character is so dedicated to his art, but not necessarily enjoying the workers or the management that he goes for, instead of going to 3, like, someone who is normally dedicated, he would wake up and go at 7. So he would be in work at 7 a.m., but not too late, or else they might start going around to the apartment and knocking on the door, and
Yeah, no, that's fair. In fact, and is this a public area you're working in, or is it a private, like, officials, like, party location?
Well, I'm not exactly a private official, but they would want me somewhere close that they would know. So they wouldn't stick me out in public, but they wouldn't necessarily stick me close to them, because if I was close to them, that could potentially give me an edge of some sort, because it's not like I want to be here. You know what I mean?
Well, how about the museum?
I mean, if the museum has an extra mattress in the basement, sure.
I mean, you have, like, Lana Petrova, who curates the museum, and she's pretty trustworthy. She's the kind of person who knows when not to talk about things and when to just leave a door unlocked, metaphorically speaking.
Doesn't sound too bad.
And given the fact that the library is, that the museum is kind of expected to have, books and research materials and random clerks going in and out of it at all hours of the night, it's not necessarily unusual to see, a bookish character such as yourself heading in and out of there.
Yeah.
In fact,
All right, I like it.
Yeah. In fact, on that morning, as you are heading into work, you are met by Agent Torrin, one of the particular handlers who has been rotated around to look after you for these last couple of weeks. They tend to switch these guys around fairly frequently, given your abilities and the way in which they can affect the people you're around. A kind of starched, very stiff-looking individual. He's with a far stronger military bearing than some of the other agents you've been around, who have often been a little more savvy, a little bit more casual. Torrin just kind of deferentially stands slightly at ease, but does nod towards you as you come towards the door. But just briefly holds a hand up before you actually get there. Doctor, we have a separate appointment this morning, I'm afraid.
Separate appointment? What's with the change in schedule here?
Is nothing major. You will be able to enjoy the rest of the day. It's just we have a meeting at the outer checkpoint. He actually starts to look a tiny bit flustered as he has to go on. We do have a Kremlin official coming who has asked to meet with you at the checkpoint.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
He gives you a very slightly pleading look. A kind of, please don't act up like the fucking man-child you are kind of look.
Alright, well, let's get going. I don't want to sit here. It's fucking cold out.
Yes, I will get the staff car and I will bring it around. Well, please, one moment. And he stamps off through the slush round towards where the car can be parked. As you're waiting, you do just get to cool your heels for a second. And while you're waiting, the door does crack open. And you do see one of your assistants, one of the few people who are interested to work directly with you on the things you do in there. Younger woman called Svetlana. She was transferred over here from Kiev. Quite bookish, her hair kind of brought up in a bun, thick glasses, very pallid complexion. But a very kind, kind of mousy kind of person. Doctor, it's good to see you. How have you been?
Well, it's the same as every morning. I got creepy people watching over me. I'm starting to run out of my special juice. It could be a little bit better, but glad to see you. I was told that we got some important stuff we got to do today.
Yes, I saw Torrin was basically jumping out of his skin when you got the call. It was pretty amazing. I've got a lot of the materials you asked for in. I know the project. She kind of wiggles her hand slightly. The project is always very vague, but I've seen some very interesting things they're bringing in, musical instruments and I think some sheet music. It's getting very interesting in here. I'm very curious to see what they expect us to do next.
Oh, well, hopefully it's something other than Boris's greatest hits, yeah? Maybe I'll get some nice...
She kind of tilts her head slightly. Greatest hits?
Never mind. Listen, hopefully there's something good in there for us, I wouldn't mind decorating my apartment with something, and maybe they'll be bringing something for us, hopefully.
She kind of looks a little shocked at that, like, you mean, like, steal project materials to decorate your apartment?
Oh, please, a piece of sheet music ain't gonna be a fucking... No, they don't... They ain't gonna fucking notice that. They would only notice it if we would be stealing, I don't know, highly classified documents and shit.
Do you just want to... Because the thing is, she's kind of really taken aback by this. The way you're being quite flippant about it is not helping. Do you want to just give me a roll with fake? And you know what? Throw in glib.
All right, let me...
roll 2d6 plus 2.
Yes. Plus 2.
Oh dear. Mark experience. As a 6 is a flat miss. Thankfully, that does not mean nothing happens, it just means entertainingly bad things happen. Yeah, there's a moment when you're desperately trying to wave it off as like, oh, it's nothing major, just like if they got some old sheet music or something, and Svetlana just very quietly says, the sheet music they sent is over 700 years old. It is one of the earliest examples of professional sheet music ever written. Why would you still... As she is kind of saying that, Torin brings the car back around and she just kind of pops back in, kind of shutting the door a little harder than she really needed to. You get a distinct feeling you might have hurt her feelings ever so slightly at that. And
well, I guess I'll have to explain it later that I'm not in the Boris's greatest hits. I was looking for some Louis Armstrong or something. Shit.
You can, as the car kind of pulls up, you can just kind of hear Torin kind of grumbling, decadent capitalist swine. Just thumps the car slightly. Are you getting in, or are you flirting with the help?
No, unfortunately, I'm certainly not flirting. My habits kind of killed that a little bit. Let's get going, shall we?
He just looks at you with an aura of barely restrained disgust. Well, all I must ask is that you are on your best behavior.
Just for you, I'll think about it. No guarantees.
Yes, just
as long as I get what I want.
The last thing I want to be doing is babysitting a fucking American around this fucking city for any longer. And yeah, with that he just kind of puts it into H and pulls off out into the street. And pulling away, finally, going back out again through the network of streets of this city, further and further towards the perimeter wall where guards walk all day and all night, a kind of solid concrete barrier, and out into the tundra, out into the actual wilderness. Where do we find Gregor?
I am, sort of out on the outskirts of the city there, just in a makeshift hut of like branches and leaves. It's very early in the morning, as being on the city outskirts, I get woken up by like birds chirping, all manner of animals.
All that Disney bullshit.
All that Disney bullshit.
That's fair enough. And as far as a morning routine for you, I mean, is there even a routine, or is it just waking up, drink something out of a puddle, eat something that hasn't gotten away fast enough? Do you have any creature comforts that come with you?
Well, I like to think my character has, like, depending on where exactly in sort of this foresty area, there's like a few makeshift farms, but because it's only just gone into May, they've been absolutely useless for the past couple months. So my character is like kind of excited for it to be summer again, but also has this dislike of people.
No, that's fair enough. And in fact, yeah, this time of year, I mean, over the course of the winter, when things get so ridiculously, like, brutally cold, the farms do just close completely down, like, slaughter whatever cattle they can spare to lose, and then just kind of last it out until the thaw. One person in particular who has, I mean, made himself known to you, even if you haven't necessarily chatted with him back, a man called Artemy Vorogovich, a huge bear of a man, easily like 6'9", almost 7 foot at times, a thick bushy beard and a broad overall frame. I was gonna say, Namus, do you want to mute? Because I'm getting a lot of laughter.
Yeah,
on the microphone.
I'll switch to push to talk. No problem.
Sorry, man.
Sorry.
And it's as you're kind of getting yourself up and around, and as you're starting to take stock of the surroundings and which farms may not be a bad idea to hit up at this time of year to see if they've got anything spare they need to throw out, which you could make good use of, obviously. You can hear, before you can see, the kind of crunching and crashing of something fairly sizable moving through the undergrowth. And in fact, it's only the occasional moments of kind of guttural swearing that differentiates it from an actual bear. As coming out into the kind of clearing near where your little lean-to is, you see Artemy kind of stumbling out from the hedgerow, a bow slung over one shoulder, kind of thick knitwork jumper, and again, even almost potentially thicker trousers, kind of dusting snow from his beard. Gregor, whatever the fuck your name is, are you alive?
Yes, Bear.
Fuck, I've lost 50 rubles. How are you doing?
Well, my day was better before you arrived, Bear.
Oh, you hurt me, you wound me. He kind of claps a palm over his heart. Oh, you are just, it's so good to know that we're taking care of the elderly in our community by sticking them out in the wilderness and hoping they die. He kind of shrugs off the kind of bag he's had over his shoulder and plonks it down on the ground. I brought a couple of things. I thought you might fancy them. We've had lots of leftovers over the winter with my boys off. Now that they're old enough to serve, and my daughter out in the city, it's we had more than we really needed, I have to admit.
This'll do, I suppose. It's good enough.
Yeah, he unfolds the pack. He unfolds the pack and kind of sits down next to it, kind of expecting you to come over. He kind of plonks out a loaf of bread, some cured meats, and a big clay bottle, which he has kind of crudely written "Horilka" on the side of it, which you know is a pretty potent fermented herb alcohol.
Oh fuck yeah! I immediately want some of that alcohol.
Yeah, he just pops the cork off the top. He pops the seal off the top of it, takes a slug, and then pushes it over towards you. Oh, I swear, it's every summer. It's always harder and harder to wake up in the morning. I have to ask, how on earth do you actually manage to survive out here all by yourself? I mean, the man of your age. The other hunters do get a little concerned. Or at the one day they're just going to walk over a hill and see your frozen body stuck to a tree mid-piss.
Well, once you get to the age I am, you learn a thing or two. I sort of say, trying to move on from the conversation.
Yeah, you are taking a pull of the alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck me, this shit is like ethanol with like turmeric in it. It's good though. You like, as far as like intoxicants and things like that happened, are they actually capable of getting you drunk? Or do you mostly drink it for the niceties of it?
I'm gonna say, like, alcohol can get me drunk, but I haven't found anything that does get me drunk yet.
That's fair enough. In which case, do you want to just give me a roll with strange? So roll 2d6 and add +2. So, I'll ask you this then. Would you like to learn something interesting and take a condition, and take a consequence, or indulge in macho posturing and bully your way through it?
I'm gonna go bully.
That's fair enough. So yeah, you take a belt, and quite contrary to most things you've drunk which are supposed to get you alcohol, like get you pissed, this hits like you've swallowed an icicle, like a persistent icicle that just runs into you and through you almost. This kind of cold, fresh glacier water burning kind of sensation. And for a moment it feels like it's threatening to kind of dull you, to kind of spread through you and affect you, but kind of shaking it off, you kind of focus and just chug several more belts of the bottle until you've got a handle on it, slam it back down onto the dirt, and kind of, with a kind of burning sensation in your mouth, kind of slap your chest in a kind of masculine posture of, ha-ha, do better than that. Artemy does watch you do all of this with a slight look of amusement on his face before shrugging Well, I suppose if you can drink that much and not die, you're probably not going to die from anything else. Oh dear. I did wonder, since you're clearly, alive and capable of drinking alcohol, would you be interested in coming out to the Workers' Day Festival tonight? It's the first time I'll get to see my boys and my girl ever since we had to shut the farm. I feel like it'd be good, you can tell stories to the kids, terrify them about all the old war stories and things like that.
Normally it'd be a no, but if you can bring me more of this alcohol, then we'll see.
I have quite literally been doing nothing but brewing it the entire winter. I've had nothing else to do, just brew and masturbate.
Then I wouldn't mind taking a visit.
I wash my hands between doing each.
It's very good to hear.
Learned that the hard way, I'll tell you.
Oh.
He's kind of scrutinizing you to see if he can actually get you to laugh. I'm assuming no dice.
The guy is very, very stoic.
Just cut to him staring, kind of whistling wind in the background. Just okay, never mind. But yes, he just kind of pats his pockets, and pulls out just a scrap of red material and goes, just tuck this somewhere about you, and it'll know that you're invited.
Okay, I sort of let's just say I've got a shirt pocket and just sort of tuck it in there so it's hanging out.
You do, I would say, as an oral historian, you'd probably know, you're normally not needing to be invited. Workers' Day or the first day of spring, it's normally considered just the whole community. It's interesting that he's given you he's explicitly called it an invitation.
Yeah, let's call that out then. What's this invite stuff?
So yeah, if you want to give me, I'd say, if you wanted to, you could roll real and add your oral historian to just have a rough idea. Or if you want to explicitly call him out, you can do that as well.
Got a +1 to real, so yeah, I'll roll real.
And then, because you've got a skill, that goes up to a +2.
+2.
Nice. So a 10 is a full success. You get to know something very direct and very pertinent. So, around here, there has always been this kind of unspoken, not a divide, but a kind of factionality between the original Ukrainian residents who lived in this town before the USSR kind of redeveloped it into a secret city, compared to, all the migrants and the Russians who showed up here and kind of formed much of the staff and the kind of hierarchy above everyone else. And while it's never really been too clear, and it's never been a explicit, matter of invitation versus uninvitation, you do recall that, a red sash or, red striping was kind of very prominently featured in a lot of traditional Ukrainian folk clothing. It would often be, the main dye everyone could make, and so it would be, one of the predominant colours people would wear. It almost feels like they're reclaiming that, in a way, from the obvious use of red in Soviet uniform and on their pageantry. And the way in which he does kind of look at you and kind of nod with an almost nostalgic approval does make you think that this is him inviting a Ukrainian, not a Soviet.
Knowing this, I'll entertain Artemy, I think it was, and I'll keep the red clothing.
Yes. Yeah, he just kind of looks at you for a couple more seconds and then just kind of claps his hands over his knees and goes, right, well, I can't sit around here all day chewing the fat. You help yourself too. He just kind of upends the bag and you see some preserved fruits and some cheeses also fall out. It's I quite literally cannot eat anymore. I have eaten so much I think if I shit, I'm going to shit my fucking pelvis. But yes, this should be good enough for you. And yes, we're starting at about 6 o'clock. And it'll be going until we all black out from alcohol poisoning. So it should be a good evening.
I'll see him there.
Yes, you'll see the fires. He kind of points out in the direction of the city. You'll see the fires from here. It'll be easy to find your way. But no, it has been good seeing you, my friend. And, yes, I will now have to go and give 50 rubles to Vinya. Fuck's sake. Please do me a favour and die next year.
I'll do my best.
He doesn't say it with malice. He just kind of says it with a grin and then waves as he heads off.
I'm just gonna immediately tuck into the rest of this food and
Just...
yeah, just the second he turns his back, just quickly as possible, I can shove it down my throat.
Are we talking like whilst in a human shape, or are you just tentacling this food?
Whilst I'm a human shape.
Okay, so you're just eating it like a voracious old man who has not eaten very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he leaves you to that, just kind of hearing the... as you're just, like, trying to swallow a whole salami. Cool. And yeah, we will pull away from there, and we will move time a little bit forward. Not all the way through to the festivities, but just a little bit further, a couple of hours. Alexei, the office has been kind of consistently abuzz ever since you sat down, and that excitement, that kind of bubbling sense of anticipation that Vanya was extolling towards you is now just starting to kind of pick up with everyone. Like, it's clearly not hit the cast iron bulwark of Sobolov, but like a lot of the other younger men and even some of the older guys are now just starting to erratically like tap their pencils on the edge of their desks, kind of mutter under their breath. Everyone's just getting a little bit more, not just perky, but kind of anxious. And I would like you to give me a roll with Strange and add in your power for exercising spirits.
All right.
Oh, actually, sorry. Before that, roll Dirty Deeds.
Dirty deeds? Sure thing.
Yes.
Are they done quick or?
They're done whenever you fancy. But yeah, so just a straight up 2d6 plus 2.
Seven.
Okay, so on a 7 to 9, yeah, you have work, but it conflicts with your morals or will hurt someone you know. If you resolve the request, mark XP. So, you've been kind of sitting there for a while, just trying, for fuck's sake, to focus on getting these reports done so you can actually itemize all the other shit you're supposed to have done already, but has just got backlogged because everyone else is slower than you. And after a while, it starts to coalesce in your mind. There might be more of a reason to that than just ineptitude and endless bureaucracy. The way in which everyone is starting to get skittish, this almost rhythmic nature to it, the way in which you can kind of allow your ears to open and you start to hear the tapping of the pencils, the tapping of the feet, the chattering of the teeth. It's not random. There is a clicking, shuffling groove to it almost.
Interesting.
Do you open yourself up to the spiritual world?
To like sense if there's something
to
occurring?
sense something, to kind of, yeah, like as far because you can sense auras, can't you?
I think that was going to be one of my extra powers. Yeah, it's just like a spiritual sense.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I think detecting all of these things. The last place he wants a spirit is where he works. So if there is one here, then yeah, he's going to close his eyes and just kind of focus for a second to see if he can feel anything. Not making a considerable effort not to slip into his shaman form, but just enough to sense anything that might be there.
Groovy.
I assume my roll is strange.
Yeah, give me a strange. And do you want your aura sense to be your second power?
I think that would be it. Yes, I think that's what.
Add an extra 1. So roll with +3. Ah. You need to do a full roll. I think !R doesn't do the whole thing.
Hey!
Yeah, there we go then. So would you like this to be vague and discreet, or clear but suspicious?
As in, people will like notice Alexei like zoning out at his desk.
Like there will be tangible evidence that something weird's happened.
Ooh. Give me a vague impression.
Okay. So you close your eyes, and while retaining your physical form and kind of gripping to it like an anchor, you allow your other senses to unfurl, to become more attuned to the world around you. And as you do so, the clicking, the clacking, the thumping becomes deeper in tone, a more bassy, more percussive sound, almost as if they were drums. This kind of clattering, just about synchronized thrashing of wood on skin, of feet on stone floors, as you start to feel the mildewing scent of the room become older, colder, almost as if you were in some kind of great cave, some great floodlit cave of great burning pyres and bare feet and crashing of sound. And Alexei! There's a kind of clapping, which snaps you back out of it again. As Sobrov has kind of noticed you with your eyes closed and your head hunched over. You can sleep after you've drunk your fill at the festival. Right now I need you awake and giving me those fucking forms.
Sorry. I was not sleeping. I'll double time.
Yes, you feel like his eyes are definitely on you now, but he is also kind of having to deal with the fact that half the office is currently doing a impromptu low-key version of Stomp.
Yeah.
So yeah, he thankfully his general background levels of frustration and annoyance are being diffused at least out into everyone else around him.
So Alexei received a sort of vision of a bright cave.
Yeah, a kind of flame-lit cave, this kind of music, a very kind of pounding, up-tempo kind of sound. But it
Interesting.
Basically the experience was so overwhelming, you had a hard time maintaining focus, and you decided to stay focused rather than allowing yourself to fully envelop yourself into the scene.
Okay.
But whatever's happening, it does seem to be running through these people like an electrical current.
But no impression of any specific entity, right?
Nothing that you could sense. Like, something is not manipulating, but something is running through them. Some excess of energy is finding places to earth itself here.
Interesting. Alexei's going to he's gonna focus on his work for now. But I guess this would be like preparing an action for later. But whenever it's closing time and the office is kind of cleared out, he's going to try and sense the what do you call it? Sense the presence again and see if he can. You know what? He'll do that. At home, Nimrod. Actually, no. He said it's. He'll wait for everyone to leave, or not everyone to leave. He'll wait for it to be suitably empty for him to actually send stuff, and then he'll try again.
Okay, so you're going to just wait for an opportunity, and as everyone's kind of leaving, and just kind of linger around behind.
Yeah. See if the energy lingers while they're gone, and if it does, it means it's the place that's got the energy, and if the energy is gone, it means that whatever it is, it's manifesting through people as opposed to a location.
That's fair enough. So yeah, you get your head down, and I mean, you've been doing this long enough. You're conditioned to know how to run through this paperwork in a fairly mundane and simple way. And thankfully, the fact that it's only a half a day means that by about 2 p.m. you're pretty much completely there. And while a lot of your co-workers have quite clearly got stacks of paperwork left to do, Soborov does not actually have the authority to keep anyone in. It is a mandated, because it's Workers' Day, state holiday. So he can't really keep them in after that point. And so rather sourly, Soborov does bring everyone back in for a sermonization and does once again explain that you have all done as much work as you can, and half as much as I would like, but we will have to make do with it tomorrow. I would like to see you all here bright and early. Now, for those of you who are going to be attending the parades, I must stress to you that you do not drink beforehand. This is textbook stuff, yet somehow I feel like I have to remind you, as half of you do seem to be running around like fucking school children. He keeps his eye very much on Vanya as he says that. But please, do try to enjoy the day. Please show solidarity for your fellow workers across the world, etc., etc. Please do not start any fights in public, etc., etc. If you're going to try and shag the farmer's daughter, please do so out of sight, etc., etc. Please get out of my fucking sight. And he just rounds on his heels, stomps off back into his office and closes the door. And he is barely halfway towards his door before almost everyone is on their way out.
Alexei, he's going to kind of lean over to... Oh, sorry?
Oh, no, go ahead.
He's going to lean over to Vanya, and... actually, I'll ask you this. Is this normal for... what was his name?
Vanya? Or Soborov?
Not Vanya. That guy. That guy.
Soborov is a man who was born with 3 moles of fucking trench line and barbed wire up his arse. This is pretty much standard for him.
Okay, good. Never mind. Then I won't lean over to Vanya.
I mean, the thing is that while he's acting like normal, most of the time everyone waits until he's gone into his office before leaving. This was like a bunch of school children trying to run out the minute the teacher says the class is out. And yeah, Vanya just kind of, as the crush starts heading towards the door, Vanya just kind of tugs at your elbow like, come on, Alexei. Beautiful women and drink await. Come on, you
I just need to get some last-minute papers together, and I'm going to stop home to change, if that's all right.
You do know that Soborov is not going to suck your dick as hard as you try. It would be horrible.
Alexei gives a nervous chuckle at that.
It would be like shoving your dick into a cold toilet pipe. Ugh. Anyway, I will wait for you outside. I have a couple of cigarettes to smoke. Anyway, I will see you out there. Don't take too long. And he just kind of starts getting dragged out by one of his friends.
Okay.
You do almost you just lightly overhear that the guy pulling Vanya away goes, "You really invited that guy?" As he kind of takes you out the door. Takes him out.
Whoa. All right. Well, with the now empty office, Alexei's going to first he's going to make sure that he's not in view of not Spodov. Can you type it out?
Oh yeah, sorry, I realized
that will help me immensely. Soborov there. Soborov's he make sure he's not in view of Soborov's office, and then he's just going to once again close his eyes and focus and try to find this presence again and see if he can more effectively track the source of it. And I assume I roll a strange for that.
Yep, give me strange. Throw in your thingy again. So give me a 3. I do realise that literally all 3... Oh, fuck me,
nice.
genuinely! Maximal penetration. I was going to say all 3 characters have +2 strange. I fucking love this. Everyone's like, I want to be as weird as possible. Cool. So, you close your eyes. And when you open them, you are naked. But you aren't
Not
cold.
Again!
But you aren't cold. You feel warm inside and out, as if there is heat both in the air but also like radiating out from within you. You are in a low and at this point somewhat darkened cavernous expanse. It reaches off to your left out into darkness and off to your right out into the light, into what looks like daylight. And around you the air is thick with the smell of ash. It's fragrant in a way, a mixture of spices, herbs, and wood smoke have all kind of come together into this kind of earthy perfume. And as you step forward, there's kind of a crunch as your bare feet go over a kind of soft mound of crumpled wood and ash. And as your eyes acclimatise to the lack of light, you can see around you multiple piles of this ash, arranged in a kind of circle around a singular, larger, what you can recognise as kind of the remnants of a pyre. Some somewhat semi-charred logs with embers still kind of resting in the centre. The main thing you notice, however, is the silence. How keenly you are aware that there was sound and music and movement here, and now it is gone. It has gone elsewhere, but it has left the evidence of its movement.
Interesting.
Do you explore this further?
Yes, I think I will. Alexi's going to lean down and look through the main pyre and see if he can find anything, spiritual in nature or indicatory of spirits.
Give me a roll with real.
Ooh, -1. Oof.
Well, mark a point of experience. You move forward, and your feet are the only real source of sound. Almost a real sense of touch, like your skin, while warm, feels numbed. There's no wind here. There's no even sense of physicality. You step forward and begin to move towards the crumbling remnants of the pyre. You can hear at this distance the crackling of the final few embers, the settling of the wood as it begins to finally lean as far as it can against one another. You reach out, just carefully, to move one of the boards, when from within a hand bursts forth, red, blistered, bloody. It grips your wrist, and you can feel bone move and grind underneath it. And this heat, this unbearable, blistering heat radiating up your arm. And as you reach back, as you try to pull away, you draw this burnt mess of an upper body, still conscious, still gripping, still trying to tear its way towards you. Milky eyes spilling from its sockets, lipless and gnashing and screaming emptily as it tries to pull itself towards you. And then you're back in the office, crashing backwards over a desk. Already you can hear Sobolov coming out of his office with a half-drunk mug of coffee in his hands. The fuck are you? Never mind. Turns around, stomps back. As he stomps back into the office, just shouts, set everything right before you fucking leave.
Alexei sheepishly begins shuffling papers, or anything he knocked over, he begins, putting back in order and things like that. But he is very shaken from this experience, and the entity that was here, or whatever energy it was, seems to have dissipated. And seeing as there's going to be bonfires later, maybe that will be a good opportunity to do some fire gazing or something.
Well, I was going to say, could you mark a moderate consequence?
Moderate consequence. Okay. What do I mark that under?
So where it says consequences, next to
Consequences.
where it says moderate.
Moderate.
Could you put the words touched by ash? As you feel a kind of prickling heat, and when you look at your hand, you see a white palm mark where that hand had gripped your wrist. And it doesn't seem to go away.
Ah, shit. Okay. Spooky. Maybe I'll come back later. I don't think I have the spare key, though. I don't think I can come back to the office later.
I mean, you can. You'll just have to break in.
Yeah. Oh.
All that means is you can get in without leaving a trace. But yeah, you're going to head out and wait and head outside to where Vanya is waiting for you.
Okay. That's what I'll do then.
Yeah. You head outside, looking, I'm assuming, fairly disheveled and a little bit turned around.
Yeah.
Vanya is kind of just finishing his roll up, looks at you, shoots it into the gutter. My God, man, how bad was it? Did Sobolov chew you out or what?
I just lost my balance. Fell.
Oh, don't worry, friend. There's going to be a lot of that this evening. Now come with me. He throws an arm around your shoulders. Beautiful women await, and trust me, you're going to like this girl. She has a wonderful personality. Now, please, go for the big one.
Alexei doesn't respond, but like gives him a thumbs up or whatever.
Yeah, he buffets the two of you off towards where you can already see smoke beginning to rise on the horizon outside of town. Behind you, you can kind of hear the first kind of blasts of brass as the official bands for Workers' Day start to kick in. But no, you're heading somewhere else. Yeah, the party members could enjoy that. You're here for the good time. And as that brass starts to kick in, we follow the echoing sounds of trumpets through the streets where pyres are being built, where food is being drawn out from pantries and put out on tables, where hogs are being hoisted up onto spits, basted and ready for roasting. Out down the main road, out through the only real access point in and out of this city, out towards the main checkpoint. And along this road, a well-made but somewhat battered official staff car takes a Dr. Kramer, an Andrei Vatnik, and his minder slash bodyguard, depending on precisely how badly things are going, Agent Torin, down towards the outermost checkpoint, the main point of contact between the rest of the outside world and Yugaslevok. Andrei, have you spent most of the ride in silence, or have you tried to talk?
I tried to talk a little bit just out of curiosity because I don't think my character has ever seen Agent Torin before. So he's like, "Oh, it's a new guy. I wonder what I can poke and prod out of him."
So you're trying to break the ice.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's cool. Are you trying to be like nice, or just winkle information out of him?
Is there a mixture of both?
Okay. If that's the case, then I'd say give me a roll with real.
All right.
And I would say throw in nerves of steel. I'd say so. Roll with a +1.
All right. Let me +1. There we are. It's 13.
Oh shit! Fair enough. So I would honestly say, give me a direct question, and you'll get a pretty direct answer.
All right. So why were you sent over here?
So yeah, through the process of conversation, you get there, and Torin, by this point, he's not warmed up to you, but he's let some of his animosity just kind of burn out. He's at least understood that getting mad at you doesn't really stop you from existing, so why bother keep getting mad at you? After a while, Torin just kind of shrugs. Well, did middlingly well in my training class. I did my best to try and find opportunities to prove myself. And when rotation came up, they said, well, you can either go out to one of the fronts and you can do some more military work, and the alternative is that you get involved in bodyguarding work. And I thought, well, you ingratiate yourself with important people, then surely you'll find opportunities that other people won't. Unfortunately, what it ended up amounting to was babysitting scientists and all sorts of other people who, you're not going to... Well, I suppose you're already tied up in your own projects, but you know the old German rocket scientists?
German rocket scientists? No, I'm afraid I'm not familiar with this.
No, near the end of the Second World War, once we were in Berlin and we were rolling through the place, we made some effort to try and pick up as many of the V2 rocket scientists as we possibly could, nuclear fission, all that sort of thing, giving us a leg up when it comes to, making sure that the motherland is going to be properly defended and capable of retaliating should other people try to use certain weapons against us.
No shit. That's something I never heard of in all my time being a Milwaukee University professor.
Well, let me tell you, it is kind of underwhelming. They were mostly flatulent Nazis who had no sense of self-regard or good manners.
Yeah, what a fucking surprise, man.
Yes.
You can't trust those crowds, dog. You can't trust them at all.
The beer is the only good thing to come out of that country in the last 100 fucking years, I swear.
From what my daddy told me, they have somewhat decent firearms as well. Although I can't count the validity of it since I've never been over there.
You do see that Thorin is definitely too young to have served. I mean, even in the worst point of the Second World War, when they were conscripting basically anyone. But it does hit him, you do see him react slightly to that. The main reason I asked to be transferred away from that duty was I lost 2 of my brothers during the war, and I felt like babysitting a bunch of Nazis would not exactly do their memory proud. So all I would ask is that, as an American and as at least a one-time ally, you would extend a little bit of decorum and courtesy, yes?
Well, since you're so nice to answer my question, I'll give you a little bit, a tad bit. I'll feed you a bone here. Why not?
Feed me bone?
It's an American saying. It's a capitalist pig saying. Don't worry about it.
Capitalist pig saying. Do not procure a cow.
Oh no, I won't. Let's just get there. I might need a new jacket soon too.
We will see what we can do. Apparently, this man is he's pretty serious. So, as I said, be on your best behavior. Yes.
All right. I'll be on my best behavior. And before you say anything, no, I'm not actually gonna steal a piece of sheet music. I know you overheard something. I'm not gonna do that. However, if you do see any Louis Armstrong records, please. That man has a good voice.
Are you implying that as a member of the NKVD, I might be performing some kind of covert surveillance on you?
I don't know what the hell you're doing, dog.
He says that, and for the first time since you've met him, he does smile.
I do not know what really it is you guys do. All I know is you guys keep a watch on me, and sometimes it's a little smothering, But so for all I know, you could be surveilling me, but
I perish the very thought. And as he says that, he comes around the final corner, around a patch of trees, and you can see the outer perimeter checkpoint ahead of you. It's not much more than a couple of concrete buildings beside a fairly well-secured barrier, with a large chain fence extending off into the distance in both directions. There's about 12 armed guards, along with a captain, kind of not quite at parade, but definitely standing at attention in preparation for this. And as Torin brings the car to a stop, he does hop out of the car, walk around the side, and open up your door before you have a chance to open it yourself.
A nice little setup we got here, I suppose. This is supposed to be an important meeting.
Oh, it's when a member of the committee decides to ask you to show up and you shut up. So please do both.
Man, we were doing so good there.
He has already blanked you and walked off towards the captain, flashes him a salute. And they talk for a couple of seconds. Not animatedly, but just kind of fairly casually, before he turns around and heads back over. Word is they should be here in about 2.5 minutes, so just stand there, I guess.
Okay, that sounds good. I pull out a little beaker of white powder and quickly...
Are you fucking serious right now?
It's just to keep me away. You know how long I've been running here?
You are very... Okay, you're going to have to give me a plus fake. And, I mean, please, throw in nerves of steel. But fucking hell.
All right. And plus, let me see here. I got to find nerves of steel. That is...
So that would be a +1 to that.
Okay, so that'd be +2, I think, right?
Yes. Okay,
Listen,
this is very much going to be a put it away and keep it, or use it and lose it.
Well,
like he is looking at you and daring you to try and take a sniff right now.
I did promise I'd be a good boy, so I guess I'll put it away for now. But when I get back, I'm gonna need it so I can stay awake. The project ain't gonna run itself.
Yeah, you put it back inside your jacket and you can just hear him go, I cannot believe we actually supply you with that shit. And
I can't either.
The next couple of minutes pass pretty quickly. And in the distance you can see, it's not the convoy you remember would normally come into the city, especially one that would break the winter. There would normally be a fleet of them coming in. In fact, it does actually only seem to be a single military truck. Kind of canvas covered across the back, standard Soviet markings on it. And as it drives up, one of the spotters on top does start to call down, in confusion as to why there does only seem to be one truck coming. But the captain just orders him to shut up and stand at attention. So the lookout quickly hops down the ladder, runs back over to parade position and stands there as the truck pulls up to the checkpoint. And there's a good 20 seconds as everyone stands there with the truck at the checkpoint before someone realizes they have to go and lift the barrier, and someone quickly runs back over, hits the button, lifts the barrier, and allows the truck to roll in. You can almost taste the bristling frustration coming from both Torin and the captain managing the checkpoint about this. And with a splutter of diesel fumes, this just mud-spattered truck pulls up in front of you and clatters to a stop. In the cab, you can just see some fairly just stubbly, unshaven civilian who just seems to be kind of sitting there with a pipe in one hand and kind of disinterestedly slouching over the wheel with his free arm. And then with a clattering from the back, you hear boots hitting the ground. And coming round the corner, you see 3 people. The first, and clearly the man from the Kremlin, a man in a fairly nicely tailored pearl blue suit. His hair is grey and short and balding, but neatly cut in a way so as not to make it look like he's too old. A kind of neat pointed central beard and moustache, and very, very clear green eyes. A very charismatic look to him despite his age. And then flanking behind him is a shorter man, a kind of thin, kind of aquiline face, very hard features, very pale, in a conventional NKVD uniform. And accompanying the two of them, in a fairly simple pencil dress with a leather attaché case and what appear to be just regular sunglasses, which is unusual given the time of year, is a woman of maybe mid to late 30s. The two of them flank and follow the man in the pearl blue suit as he walks towards you, and as he gets within about 10 feet, his eyes latch onto yours with an almost magnetic click, and his mouth and his eyes all open up into a very broad smile as his hand comes up, fingers manicured perfectly, a gold ring on his ring finger, and as in a clear and very commanding voice, It is good to meet you, Doctor. How are you doing? My name is Afnas Popov. I am an attaché from the Kremlin, here to survey the efforts of Yugaslevok.
Well, I'm doing all right, sir. We're just trying to survive.
How would you like me to address you, Dr. Kramer or Dr. Vatnik? I'm not entirely sure how the niceties are here.
I like to try to keep a hold on my old nationality as much as possible, but you call me whatever you like.
You prefer Kramer? Then would you prefer Robert? We do not need to stand on formality quite so much.
I like Robbie.
Robbie? Well, if you insist. You do actually see the lady with the attaché case pull out a notepad and just quickly scribble something down. Well, very well. We will... Robbie, it is good to meet you. And he looks over at the... Torin, and for a moment does seem kind of lost for words. Agent,
His name is Agent Torin.
Torin, yes, thank you. You all can almost, feel Torin settle as he was almost about to explode with not being known. No, it's wonderful. I'm assuming that we are the first people to arrive here. I know the convoy has been tremendously delayed. There has been a bit of a bureaucratic mess-up and not enough supplies are requisitioned. So if you're wondering why the convoy is very short, that is the reason why. We should have everything arriving in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Now, I was made aware that your field of expertise, Project P, yes? You are dealing with, he waggles his eyebrows, non-scientific practices, yes?
If that's what you'd like to call it. I'm certainly,
What is the word? Esoteric, yes. Esoteric practices.
Yeah. It's esoteric, you could say that. I'd give you more, but I don't exactly. I'm usually just told to do something, and I'm not really debriefed too much. But I'll try to answer all your questions the best I can.
Yes, I feel like the committee has not necessarily really been utilizing the assets they have in this city, so it is up for me to make an assessment, and then we will report back and see what can be done. You never know. We may be able to get you a proper funding, a proper lab, and all that kind of thing. Maybe be able to set your own.
Could you also throw in a Louis Armstrong record there?
He kind of
Perhaps.
turns to the guy in the NKVD uniform. You can say, "What is Louis Armstrong?" There's kind of a muttering, and he goes, "Oh, you mean like jazz? Why does he? Who gives a? Oh, but all right, sure, put it in a request. I don't know. Okay, good. Say no more. We will have the entire discography of Louis Armstrong sent to you post haste on the next convoy in."
Oh, you're a beautiful man. Thank you so much.
He almost demurely touches a hand to his chest and kind of, "Oh, you flatter me." But yes, anyway, it is time for me to take a tour. I know that it is Labor Day, so there's going to be a march, there's going to be a ceremony. It's all going to be terribly tedious, I'm sure, but I hear the locals also celebrate today as the first day of spring, yes?
I guess so. I'm not too familiar with the local customs around here, but from what I've ascertained from
You're not
my
familiar with local
handlers,
customs? I mean,
I'm not from around here. It's
well, neither am I, but we are all brothers. We are all communists. Yes, we are all members of the glorious USSR. We are here under one guiding light, under the guidance of Comrade Stalin himself, yes?
Yes, very much so.
And
I do admire that man's talent.
Are you all right? He turns, kind of addresses the other men as well. Comrade Stalin is here, and he is here to make sure that we are doing our utmost for the benefit of all who live within the Soviet Union. And there is kind of an awkward glance back towards the captain as this kind of unexpected patriotic fervour was not anticipated. And the captain just kind of looks back towards his men and then just quickly barks, "Long live Stalin!" And the other men kind of rattle it off in quick succession. "Long live Stalin! Long live Stalin! Yep, Stalin!
Long live Stalin!"
And yeah, Afanas turns around looking fairly satisfied and with himself and goes, "Well, I will leave my attaché and my bodyguard here with the truck, and I will head back with you to the town, and we will rattle through this ceremony as fast as humanly possible, and then I will find a large glass of vodka with my name on it, and I invite you to join me."
Pretty good.
Excellent.
I'd be down.
Now, into the car, and you... points and snaps his fingers a couple of times. Torin, that's it. Yes, take it easy. I am feeling a little delicate from the ride over here. The suspension on that truck, it does not fucking exist. And, yeah, Torin, rather stunned at the sheer force of personality coming from Afanas, opens the door for both of you, gets you into the back seats of the car, and drives you back up towards the town. The city itself, by the time you get back, is really starting to kick things into high gear. There is a lot of... Not like chaos, but a lot of hustle and bustle. Like, at multiple points, the car has to stop, backtrack slightly, turn around, where street parties have kind of already dominated much of the street. Almost as if the entire city is celebrating something utterly different. And it's only when you get to the main city plaza that you can actually see, like, the official banners are being hung, the band is there's a marching formation, like, almost as if it's just kind of one perfunctory little ceremony in the midst of a completely alternate thing. And as the car tours through town, Afanas is just kind of leaning out of the window, kind of casually smoking a cigarette as he does so, taking in everything. And I would like you to give me a roll with... You know what? Give me a roll with fake.
Alright, so that would be a +2, I believe. Or was that +1? No, it's +1.
Yes. Whew, okay, fair enough. Mark experience, that's fine. As yeah, you take some time, and to be honest, you're still digesting a lot of the bullshit that was being rattled off from Afanas. You're not really paying attention at this point. Like, he seems to be just a fairly braggadocious bureaucrat, the kind of guy who understood that the Kremlin is a place of dour career men, and that one guy with half a personality would actually do fairly well if he knew how to handle everyone. So him just taking everything in just strikes you as a guy looking for opportunities, looking for a good time, or just at the very least somewhere to go and pass the time when he's not doing his perfunctory inspections. And yeah, you arrive at the main plaza, and it's crashingly dull. It's about an hour and a half worth of watching people walk in formations, then a couple of speeches which are rattled through in as little time as possible. You and Afanas and a bunch of other general bureaucrats are all marshalled into a specific stand to stand stiffly, specifically not actually sitting down because no one else is sitting down and sheer peer pressure is kind of forcing you all to stand as the ceremony crashes its way through. Are you interested in doing anything while this is happening? Like taking in anything? Or are you mostly just trying to get this over and done with?
I'm mostly just... I'm sort of like zoning out. I'm focused on my work, but I'm generally keeping in formation and doing what's asked. I'm just trying to get it over with as fast as possible because I'm thinking ahead of time of what I need to do for later.
That's fair enough. So you're just kind of keeping your mind focused on what you've got to do later. That's fair enough. And as time goes by, eventually the band launches into the Soviet national anthem for blessedly the last time. It's a fairly good rendition, but at this point you can hear it in your dreams. You don't want to hear it in real life anymore. And almost as it's hitting its second verse, you do just feel... You do feel Athanas just kind of tap you on the elbow and just lean over and not shout, but has to speak over the sound of the band. Go, since this is wrapping up, I have been made aware that there do appear to be a couple of rather good spots the locals are using to celebrate the first day of spring. If you would be interested in accompanying me.
Oh, I would love to accompany you. Gets me out of the lab for a little bit.
Excellent. Wonderful. Excuse me, fuck off. Please, I do not care who you are, please. And he just starts making a path through the stands towards the exit and kind of just expecting you to follow in his wake. You can immediately see, like, everyone around him is looking tremendously shocked and slightly annoyed at this man just kind of clomping through the stands trying to get out of here. Are you heading with?
Yeah, I'll head with. I'll look around for Agent Torin, but I'll certainly head with.
If you look around for Torin, I would say it's not too difficult to spot him. He's not up here in the stands with you. He's down just in the kind of crowd, but he's been turning his head back occasionally just to kind of keep his eye on the two of you. And you can, even from here, see the look of mild horror on his face as Athanas is just stomping over the feet of, like, one of the major apparatchiks who looks after, like, some major part of this city's infrastructure. Just like, oh god, I've left him in the company of a fucking arsehole. God damn it. But he's too caught up in the throng of people to actually manage to get out of there and make any kind of difference. I was actually going to go over to Steve, but since Steve has kind of excused himself quietly, we will just keep going with games for a little bit longer here.
All right.
So, down through the stands, out through the crowds, and back out into the streets of the city. At this point, the sun is starting to dip in the sky a little bit. You're starting to smell the crisp scents of roasting vegetables and meat on the wind. The smokestacks from these pyres, both in the streets and out on the out in the tundra, is starting to flare up and kind of ink the sky slightly with these wisps of black smoke. And as Athanas just kind of looks out with his arms folded over his chest and a smile on his face, could you give me a roll with... Actually, you know what? Give me a roll with real, but add in self-taught warlock. So add a +1.
All right, I'll add a +1.
Well, we'll take another point of experience.
All right.
You look out into the streets, and when you look over at Athanas, there's something about him. Something is... like a distant bell is ringing. Something is tickling at the back of your head, but you just can't quite figure out what it is. And as easily as the thought comes, the thought goes. If this guy wants to party and doesn't really seem to give a shit about all the rhyme and pomp and circumstance of the Soviet of the kind of Soviet propaganda machine, great. That's a breath of fresh air considering everyone else you've talked to today. And you tramp off with him into the streets in search of a good time. Now back to Steve and Gregor.
Hello, that's me.
He, the slime man. So back out in the woods. We're a little bit back before these things were happening. Now that your open air quotes friend, Artemy, has head off back towards his farm and left you to gorge yourself on cheeses and meats and alcohol. What do you do with yourself of an average day when you're not just, heading off to various farms to scrounge for food or foraging around?
That is a good question, I guess. The little hut that I'm living in, needs work, so it just needs modifications. So I could go out and beg in the streets.
Well, there's basic stuff you could do, like cleaning the gutter, or cleaning a gutter, or something like that. Cutting wood for the fire, like digging a hole for the privy, that kind of like the real basic stuff that has to be done once the ground is soft enough to do it.
Yeah, I think getting some firewood and just wood in general would be a good use of time.
That's fair enough. So yeah, you head out into the forest, and all around you, nature is starting to wake up. And I have to ask, as a being from outside this reality, how does it feel to be out here? Is being out in nature preferable to being in a city?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it simpler, quieter, less polluted, less muddy?
Yeah, all those kind of things. Yeah, my guy just generally hates people, and maybe as a squid boy, I might want to eat them, but that's,
As a bona fide squid boy.
mm,
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, you head around out into the woods, and out in the kind of the in the groves where over the course of the winter, like dead wood has fallen to the ground, and now that it's started to dry a little, you can pick it up and turn it into usable kindling and some smaller logs at least. You'll have to wait until you can like go back and get your axe to really take a tree down. Not that people necessarily like it when you do that, but fuck them.
yeah.
You're lingering around when you do hear rustling coming from up ahead. And as you are just kind of casually moving closer, you see a deer. A young stag. Its antlers have long since kind of budded away. It's odd to see one this young at this time of year, out of season. Its leg is caught in a bear trap, or more accurately, some kind of crude metal snare which has clamped and broken its rear leg. And it kind of flops and thrashes as it tries to pull away, the kind of old and dried blood starting to freshen again as it senses you come closer. What do you do?
I mean, that immediately, I think of the fact that despite it being quite a lot of food I ate earlier, I'm still hungry. And I think it's time for Squid Boy to come out and feast.
You got big hungry.
Mm.
Okay, are you just going to go up there and just...
Basically, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Give me a roll with, you know what, because we're indulging in your base hunger. Give me a roll with real and throw tentacles in there.
So that's
plus
that, right? +2.
It would be a 9, so it's not too bad either which way.
Okay, I'll take that.
So I'm going to give you a choice. Actually, you know what? I'll just give you two options.
Okay.
Do you want to messily devour this thing? Or do you want to slowly take your time and eat it cleanly?
I mean, it's probably a couple hours off until the festival thing starts, so I can take my time.
Okay. So, I mean, are we talking like the physical form breaks down and it just becomes tentacles?
Yeah.
Like almost like it looks like a man, and then you start to see the tentacles unfold from the profile, and you realise, oh god, it was all tentacles just forming the shape of a person.
The way I have it in my head is, like how biblical angels kind of just float there.
That, but with tentacles.
Yeah.
Oh my dear god. Are you taking your clothes off to do this?
Uh,
I imagine if you're doing it slowly, you probably are, like, disrobing so as not to get lumps of goo on it.
I guess so, yeah.
Fair enough. So, naked man disrobes in front of a wounded deer and then turns into a floating ball of tentacles.
Yeah.
I love the shot. Yeah. Amazing. And, this deer just black-eyed horror in its eyes as you just slide it headfirst into this tentacled maw.
I mean, it was technically a good deed. I got it free from the trap. Just happened to be in.
You freed it into your mouth.
Yeah.
I liberated all this money from this bank. Yeah, that's fine. And over the course of about, I'd say 45 minutes, you just slurp up, like one big thick noodle, this deer, which kicks a little as it finally goes all the way in. And it's as you're kind of reforming yourself, you sneeze massively. No. Just explosion of tentacles everywhere. Excuse me. You are just kind of reforming yourself and heading back towards your clothes as you hear just a distant kind of Suka bliat. The fuck? You old man, what are you doing? Scanning away all the deer. Put your wrinkled old dick away, you fucking weirdo. There's a couple of youngish kind of looking men, maybe like one as young as 19, the oldest maybe 23, carrying kind of old looking side-by-side shotguns. You maybe would have recognized one of these guys kind of poking around last year, hunting for like small game. And he, with a rather just dismissive and annoyed look on his face, just kind of waves his free arm towards you, like, what are you doing?
Well, based on that reaction, I'm going to assume they didn't see any of the squid boy. So I'll agree. I'll just slowly put my clothes back on, but I want to make eye contact with them the whole time.
I will want you to give me, you know what? Damn, you don't have anything with fucking crazy eyes. That's a shame. Yeah, I would say just give me a roll with real. But you know what? Throw outdoorsman in here, as you're almost using that crazy old guy in the shed as a benefit.
Okay, so that's +2.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You maintain blistering eye contact with this man as you tuck your wrinkled old pecker into your tattered underwear. And there is this moment as his friend just leans over and goes, "Must you keep staring at him like that? This is getting weird and in a way I wasn't prepared for." The other one just goes, "If I blink now, I lose." Eventually the one he talked first just goes, "You know what? Just leave the old man alone. Clearly, there's been no fucking game here anyway. We should go and check some of the other traps." And you do the second one who was staring at you just kind of eventually just blinks a couple of times, rubs his eyes. I'm going to want to drink pretty fucking heavily to forget ever seeing that. My God. Just fuck off from my traps, okay? Fucking weird old hobo bastard.
This turned out great.
Yeah, he just shoulders his shotgun and walks off back towards in the forest. And as they both turn, you see they too both have little scraps of red material both hanging from their back pockets.
Mm-hmm.
They're members of the Bloods. No, sorry, that was a stupid joke.
Well, if they are one of the homies, then I'll let them get away. I won't feed anymore.
No, that's cool. And time moves forward. It's now getting later. The sky is beginning to darken, and in turn, the lights from the pyres are illuminating the sky and throwing this rippling orange-yellow light out, with the smoke blackening and smothering the horizon as it does so. In the city, the people celebrate Labor Day. They celebrate the idea of recognizing the pitiless work that is done by the average working man and woman. But out here in the tundra, they worship something simple, primal, something to them more real. The birth of spring, the enlivening of the land. Sap rising, winter receding, life returning to a sterile and forgotten land. And you all find yourselves brought together at this pyre, out near the west gate of the city. It's a mixed bag of locals from inside the city, as well as people from farms, and even people you're pretty certain weren't here last year, but have somehow just drifted here, maybe from other small shacks like the one that Gregor lives in, or just passing gypsy groups who have found a way to slip in through the outer cordon and make themselves at home here as well. Music fills the air, roasting meat and alcohol fill bellies and fill hands in good turn. Alexei. Vanya has dragged you out here, and the trek out here has been a little bit more lengthy than you would have originally liked, but in turn he's at least been able to usher you right into the heart of the party, and everyone around you feels, in the same way to those people inside the office, there's a rhythm to them. Not as clear and as focused as it was back in that building, but there is a certain sway, a sort of building and receding, almost like a tide that's flowing through everyone here. Every man, every woman, every child. And as Vanya just pushes a cup into your hand, he goes, "Well, I suppose it could have gone worse. We could have been shut up somewhere for bad behavior, but hey, we're here, we're alive, and we've made it through another fucking year. Now," he kind of points across the fire, "you'll see those two girls there. The big one, that is yours. Her name, I do not know. But if you would come with me, I would like to make my gambit, and then, we can split off, and we can have nice conversations."
All right, then. Alexei, I guess he would wait for him to make the first movement over there.
Yeah, he just kind of motions for you to kind of just follow in his wake as he moves around the fire. And as you move closer towards them, you do see there are two women, both kind of in their early 20s, very similar looking, kind of straight black hair, slightly darkened skin, very kind of clear brown eyes. The slightly elder of the two sisters is quite well built, very tall, very strong shoulders. She's got she's clearly still wearing work clothes, and there is kind of a slight smell of blood and offal around her. But at the same time, she does radiate a kind of warmth. She's talking animately with a couple of people at the same time. She's kind of moving food onto people's plates, and in turn kind of having an occasional bite at some potato or some rice as she does so. The younger of the two is a lot more withdrawn. She looks slender and, dare I say it, maybe a little malnourished. She has hollowed cheeks, and when she looks out at people, it's not the kind of embracing, warm look that her sister gives, but something a lot more piercing and a lot more exacting. She is looking at you and all of you. Whereas her older sister takes in everyone, but on a more shallow basis. And Vanya, with just a big Suzanne smile on his face, steps forward and launches into what appears to be some kind of rehearsed come-on. Reciting some snippets of poetry, bowing his head and making a big show, which does not seem to be doing a fantastic job at winning her over, or at least changing this younger sister's expression. But as the denouement goes on, and Vanya basically starts to look like he's ever so slightly running out of steam, the older sister does rather half-heartedly just gently nudge bodily her younger sister forwards, and a kind of stumble, kind of reluctant step forward, she steps forward, takes Vanya's extended hand, and lifts him back up to his feet. And wordlessly, the two just kind of step out towards where the dancing is at its strongest and begin to spin together, just holding hands. Vanya clearly putting most of the effort in, but the younger sister surely, like, not putting her feet out of place, moving with him as well as he is. And in this kind of vacuum left by those two departing, are you going to address the older sister, or are you?
Yes, Alexei. He promised to do this, but he's going to address her very formally and with a bit of distance, shall we say? But he says, "Good evening. What is your name?"
Oh yes, you must. She looks over. The older woman looks over at the spinning figures, and goes, "Well, you must be the potatoes if that was the meat. It is good to meet you. My name is Kirill. My father wanted a boy, but he got what he got."
I am Alexei.
She actually just sticks out a very kind of flat workman's handshake at you.
He actually prefers that and shakes her hand back.
And yeah, like, it's a big, warm, soft hand, and it's not crushing your hand, but it's a very solid.
It's grip. A firm grip.
Firm grip, and she kind of pumps your hand a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's honestly good that someone plucked up the courage to ask Xenia out. The poor woman, she really does not know how to talk to people, I swear. Did that... What is that boy's name?
That is Vanya.
Oh, Vanya. I think I saw him mooning after her back in the autumn festival. I swear that boy... Anyway, I apologize if this is awkward, if he presupposed anything upon you. It's typical. People never seem to feel the confidence to talk to my sister in a way without either dressing it up in flowers or bringing someone else for emotional backup. Please, hang on a second. Get some food in you. You look exhausted. I see by your dress you work in the bureau? You're some kind of paper pusher?
I do indeed. I am one of the many apparatchiks that they employ.
Oh, you poor boy. Well, clearly, even though you only push anything as heavy as a pencil, you need to get some food in you. So, excuse me. And she turns around for a second, and when she returns, she just has a plate with, like, baked potato, roast pork, mixed peppers. Like, it's just piled with fucking food.
All right.
Sticks a fork on the top of it and pushes it into your hands. Right, there you go. Get that in you, and I'll see if I can find you a beer.
I thought I already had a drink.
If you're walking around here with only one drink in your hand, you are clearly not having a good time. Excuse me.
Despite Alexei's not going to contradict her, but he's definitely just going to be nursing these drinks for a while.
You can see a lot of people around you are not really making that distinction and are quite happily just like double-fisting a glass of vodka and a mug of beer at the same time.
There you go.
A few of the more raucous party members are just pouring vodka into their beer.
Alexei's going to find a nice, not necessarily quiet, but open space to sit and begin eating his food as he observes everyone. And he is specifically going to observe everyone looking for some strange behavior of some kind, or what was I going to say? Yeah, you know what? Strange behavior. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, cool. Yeah, give me a roll of strange.
All right, a strange roll. Gotcha. Exclamation point. +2. Hey.
Cool. Yeah, you are sitting around, like just pushing food into your face, watching people around you, and yeah, it does feel like there is this ebb and flow of energy passing through the crowd in a rhythmic fashion. Not as intense as before, but there is definitely a shape, a kind of pattern to it. And it's as that thought crosses your mind, your eyes cast over to where people are dancing. and to where you saw Vanya and he says, trying to remember, Vanya and Xenia dancing together. And that's when you see the threads. Red threads are extending from where each pair of people are holding hands. And as they spin and as they coruscate in this big circle to the music, they're weaving a pattern, it looks like. Like a flower or... I mean, we're obviously a reference a bit too early, but like a spirograph of this concentric pattern rolling and rotating in on itself. And as the energy flows through, you begin to realize that where it is at its strongest, where the locus of this is where Vanya and Xenia are holding hands. As if that is the needle pushing through, drawing the thread with it.
Oh, sorry, you go.
As that thought comes to you, it is almost broken away as there is a kind of, again, just like a small crash beside you as Khalil sits down, again, like with a haunch of pork in one hand and a mug of beer in the other. Goes, they don't make a half-bad couple, I have to say. I'm very impressed with her. She's coming out of her shell, I must say. And what about you? You coming out of yours?
Oh, what's gonna Lexi gonna say? I'm getting there, I suppose. Your sister, you said she has trouble with people. Was there anything strange that happened to her?
Strange? No, I mean, no more than any other woman. Bad luck with men. You know, you have a few bad experiences and then you learn, well, you'll learn not to trust people. And, no. I've done my best to make sure she's happy and that she gets to dance now and again, but a real relationship, real happiness, I'm not sure she can have it anymore. She has given herself over to other ideas. But it's always the way. When there is sadness, there is always joy. There is always give and always take, yes?
Indeed. When there is winter, there comes spring, he says, and he raises his glass in a cheers.
She actually does kind of, as you say that, does beam very clearly and clacks her mug against yours. You could not have said it better if I had said it myself. Cheers. And she slings the mug back. And
Alexei does not sling it back. He takes a
very
conservative gulp. Yeah.
Where did you get the crazy straw? You'll never know. Further afield, but still within this party. Dr. Kramer.
Oh.
Out here in this field with all these people, with this rough, rustic music rattling around you. Accordions and trumpets and pipes and drums and the chorus of 100 drunk throats all calling together in kind of cacophonous accord. You could have sworn you were definitely with Athanas like a minute ago, but you can't for the life of you can't recall where he got off to. At some point you both entered the press of bodies, someone stepped on your toe, you turned around for a second, and even that very obvious pearl blue suit has gone.
Well, shit.
Already smiling faces are kind of coming towards you, plates of food and mugs of beer being proffered in your general direction. No one seems to recognise you, but they seem to be offering hospitality to anyone here.
Oh shit, that sounds good to me. It's like I gotta take advantage of some of that.
Where the... you know, oh, never mind, he's fine. No, that's cool. As you're kind of fed with food and alcohol, yeah, there are a multitude of people here. You see people both young and old, people kind of, you know, very not in like the full-blown throes of passion, but definitely like showing public affection, kissing and hugging, and maybe at the periphery where people have got maybe a touch more discretion and the ability to hide around the back of a tree, maybe getting a touch more intimate than that. But nothing that you wouldn't necessarily do around children. And as you are indulging yourself, are you completely like going into the hedonism here, or are you trying to at least keep your head somewhat on a swivel?
No, I'm trying to keep it somewhat in a swivel because, number one, I just lost the guy that I was supposed to be drinking buddies with, and also I just ditched my handler, so he's going to be pissed, and if I'm not with this guy, then he's probably going to be even more pissed that I just left out on my own.
Groovy. Could you give me a roll with real?
All right, let me see. Real
So that's pretty much just a flat 0, so just throw 2d6. Cool. Would you like to take a consequence? Would you like to take a condition to avoid something bad happening?
Why not? All right.
So could you take the minor condition drunk?
Yes, sir.
As polite as you can be, they keep filling your mug up, and it's gonna spill otherwise. So you gotta keep drinking, I guess. And yeah, even with a couple of bites full of food here and there, you just find yourself having a hard time keeping entirely upright. Not paralytic, but definitely drunk. And you find yourself kind of swaying and looking for places to sit down, and you're still looking out for Afanas or Torim, but as of right now, the throng is so thick that it's so hot this close to the pyre, and the alcohol is doing such a number on your ability to kind of keep yourself mobile that you are very much just doing your best to stay conscious. And as you sit there, just trying to sober up at least a little bit, time just gets away from you a little, and you find yourself swimming in this ocean of noise and movement. Just in that way in which when you get a little too drunk and you are mostly concentrating on not throwing up, but not to the point of chronically sick. And almost breaking you out of this reverie, you feel a hand clap on your shoulder and see Torin kind of having clearly looking like he's just shouldered his way through the throng, much to the loud objections of some of the people here. Looking down at you, his cap taken off, his hair slightly mussed. There you bloody are! Okay, right, I found you. I now have to go and find Afnas. Apparently he's fucked off somewhere around here as well. Are you... you're drunk, aren't you? I suppose I should be expected. Can you walk?
Yeah. I can try.
He kind of stands you up, you wobble a bit, he sits you back down. You know what? You sit there, I will go and see if I can find Avanas. Just, please, for goodness sake, don't wander off, okay?
Alright.
Okay. Right. Good. I will be back in 5 minutes. Please don't go anywhere. And, stuffing his cap back onto his head, he just, again, starts pushing his way through the crowd. And again, you can kind of hear some kind of raised voices, not cursing, but definitely a kind of, oi, excuse me, do you mind?
Wow. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten really, really mad. This isn't usually like him, at least for the first 5 minutes that I have met him.
And Gregory, or Gregor.
Who?
Time has passed. It's time to head down to the festival, to where the main pyre is burning and the sounds of merriment are being made. It's kind of a walk, and you don't have too many people coming along with you, so you do spend much of your time just trudging through in the dark. And as you make your way towards the light, the world feels very empty, very cold and desolate. You feel alone. You feel alien. As if those people over there really are the only real things here, and you are just some ugly facsimile, some half-baked attempt at fitting in. And that deep down in your heart you know that you don't really belong here. And in honesty, that's why you tend to hate people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you press into this thought? Or do you just try and shake it off?
I think I'm going to try and shake it off.
Okay, give me a roll with fake.
Fake is -1.
Yes.
To be that? Yeah.
Well, mark experience. You try to put the thought out of your head. You try to just find something to focus on. Not the fire, not the people. That just brings on the thought more. You turn your head up to the stars. And as you do, the stars swim. This dark, infinite sky peppered with light. And some atrophied part of your memory starts to flex, as if blood were passing through it again and growing and taking shape once again. The stars, they meant something to you. Not their place, not their orientation, but their being. The fact that they are there, the fact that you are here, they are there. Something feels right when you look at the stars. And for just a moment you feel content. No hunger. No anger. No nothing. You just feel imbalance. And then you move your eyes away back down towards Earth. And that hunger rampages back into you. That recognition of how far you are from that. How much you are having to make do. Cramming everything you can inside yourself to find some way to stem that impossible hunger. That the meat, the beer, the deer, nothing's really slaking it. Nothing's really filling that hole inside you. And I just want you to take the moderate condition, starved.
Okay. So that's a -2, right?
When relevant, it will be a -2, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. And you, I'm assuming, head over towards the party in search of at least something to satiate the rumbling in your gut.
I imagine a party like this, there was plenty of opportunities for me to snatch some food.
I mean, if you head over there, like you can see Artemy over there, like the huge berry dude, who is like holding court around his amassed family. And should you come close enough, he will wave you over.
Yeah, I want to go over to Artemy then.
His big booming voice, kind of like, "There you are! Excellent! I thought you'd fallen over and broken your hip. Boys, girls, little ones, this is Gregory. He is the wild man who lives out in the woods. He fights ghosts and eats devils. He strangles bears with his bare hands. That's why they call them bear hands, for they're used for killing bears." And you can see there seem to be like several generations of this man's family scattered around him, from people maybe 20 years his junior to like children as young as 3 or 4. The smallest of them looking up at you with a kind of mixture of wide-eyed wonder and wondering if you have a sweet on you.
I get the feeling that the only thing that's passing through my mind right now is how much I'd like to eat all these children. But I'm going to try and push that down.
They're like chicken poppers. Give me enough teriyaki sauce and I'll eat anything. And yeah, Artemy kind of again like in front of him is a spread that would rival most other parties. He has meats and breads and all sorts of other things, and he just has one sweeping arm towards you and goes, please help yourself. I swear we always bring too much, and as you can see, he indicates there's barrels being tapped, there's whole pigs being roasted. He goes, naturally everyone else had to bring food for them, so I've brought enough food for everyone, so I might as well have food for you. So please, come sit, talk to my daughter. Boys, come over here, please. You want to talk to this man. He was clearly, I imagine you're served. I mean, we all did our part for the motherland, yes?
Sure.
They're all sick of my war stories, you understand. I would like to hear something from someone such as yourself. Come on, you must have great tales from when you were beating back the dastardly Nazis, yes?
Yeah. There's honestly just too many stories to choose from. It would take too long.
There's kind of like a tugging at your ankle, and you just kind of see like a small boy of like 6 years old, just going, Did you go to Stalingrad? Did you fight back the Nazis at Stalingrad? Papa told me all about Stalingrad and how you fought back the Hun and how you would run them over with your tanks and you would blow them up with your bombs and you would stab them in the face with your... And then just a mother comes forward and goes, Igor, please!
It was something like that, kid.
Do you want to take a stab at bullshitting these people, or do you just want to awkwardly be, please don't talk to me about this?
I definitely want to try and bullshit them.
Wonderful. Give me a roll with fake and throw in oral historian.
The
history of blowjobs.
Oral historians, that's +1, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That comes
so
out
that's just 2d6s?
2d6, yeah, plus nothing. What? You know what? Okay, I'll say, do you want to be traumatizing or unbelievable?
Traumatizing.
Cool. Yeah, you noting that the kids seemed really interested in kind of the gruesome side of things. You having had talked with survivors of the Second World War, previous veterans who came here, a lot of other homeless who had kind of been left behind. You patched together a story from the defense of Stalingrad where you wore the skin of dead Nazis to slip in amongst them, and then you would slip grenades into their latrines and blast them apart in a fountain of gore and shit. And by the time you've got about 5 minutes into this, all the children have been removed, bar the one kid who had asked you to begin with, who was looking at you with rapturous glee.
You should be the first.
And yeah, once you kind of rattle off to your conclusion, Artemy just very quietly reaches over to you, just kind of leans over to you and whispers in your ear, I appreciate the story, friend, but that was so graphic even I'm going to have nightmares tonight. Perhaps you should mingle with the rest of the guests. They will be more than happy to say hello to you. Just to tell them you're a friend of Artemy Vologorovich, and they will extend you every courtesy.
Yeah, I can do that. I think I can sort of wander into the crowd. Just
cool.
I have a plan, but I don't think the plan is appropriate just yet.
And as you head towards the fire, the three of you see each other over the pyre.
Oh.
Gregor, you see these two... I mean, what is the nicest way you could use to describe them, apart from fucking enemies?
They... You know what? To me, they both look like jazz listeners.
The greatest of insults. But yeah, you see Dr. Kramer, you see Volkov, and Kramer, you see each other across the fire as well. You're all kind of equidistant in this kind of triangle around the place. And before any of you can do anything, there's a rustle and a crash from the pyre in front of you. It's the largest one around. It's thick beams and a tangle of brush that's been dragged up from the scrubland. Some herbs and spices have been thrown in there to perfume it slightly, but they'd long since burnt away. Just the stink of wood smoke, which is mixing in with all the other scents of the festival.
Oh.
And
shit.
all three of you find yourselves drawn to the fire as you stare into it. And as you look deeper and deeper into the fire, you see something inside it, curled up you see a figure, rictus
boy.
and taut and blackened. There is a body in the pyre. And I would like to ask all of you, what do you do?
Alexei begins shouting to extinguish the fire. He was talking to what was her name? He was talking to the older sister before,
Kirill?
and is that
Kirill.
Kirill? Yes. But he's going to start pointing at the fire and telling people, and starting with her, tell her to help him put it out. Doing his best to draw their attention to the burning corpse.
That's fair enough. It sounded like Kramer also had something he wanted to do.
I would probably, if I remember correctly, I was with Torin, right?
Torin had just left to try and find Athanas, the guy who had brought you here and then immediately fucked off.
I would probably try to go and get him, but considering that would probably take too long and I'm very curious about everything, I kind of just want to wait and watch what happens.
That's okay. And Gregor.
I just kind of just want to stand there, just looking into the fire, just flames around me if need be.
So we have only one person here is going, oh shit, there's a body in the fire. The other two are like, huh.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Maybe I will.
No. That's perfectly fine. No, it makes sense from like from an academic curiosity. Like, it's probably in there for a reason. It makes sense. You maybe want to study it.
All right. Okay. I'll trust you on this.
Like again, like you can't make a bad decision here. It's simply that different things will happen.
Right.
So first and foremost, suppose we should kick off with Alexei. So Alexei is just kind of... you're going to Kirill first.
She's just like the closest to me. We have to put out the fire. There's a body in there. Look.
She just kind of is a little taken aback by your sudden outburst, but kind of just sets her plate to one side, looks at the fire, cocks her head a little bit, then looks back at you. Yes, I know it is there. You'd love to make such a fuss. You're going to ruin the whole party.
But Alexei just kind of like stares at her confusedly. Should we not get the body out?
No, you don't have to worry about it. Look, she just kind of tries to slide another kind of mug of beer over towards you. It's fine. Look, no one else minds. Hey, she just kind of waves her hand over to one of the passers-by and goes, look, can you see what's in the fire? And the party-goer just looks over. There's a moment where their expression changes to shock, but then immediately returns back to a kind of drunken reverie, and they just kind of shrug and wander back into the crowd. And Kirill turns back to you with a smile on her face. Oh, you can see it's fine. You don't have to worry about yourself. You're safe. This is all part of the plan. Everything is going exactly as it should be.
Yeah, you know what? Alexei's he's gonna do his best to act natural and be like, yeah, okay, and take his mug back and act back, but he's definitely gonna turn on his spirit sense and
I'm gonna say just straight away, could you give me a roll with fake?
Roll with fake.
As you are trying to not give away how much you're going, fuck.
8.
Okay. Alright, I'll tell you, we'll put it this way. you can, let's say, either deflect suspicion, but your nerves will give you a penalty on this roll to kind of do your spirit sense thing, or you can not deflect suspicion, but you can make your your spiritual energies will be unfettered. It's gone very quiet, and I don't know if anyone's not talking or if I've
I'm trying to weigh my options.
Failure is never a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna deflect the attention.
That's fair enough. So yeah, you're able to just almost mimicking the kind of lackadaisical expressions of everyone around you, just kind of flop back into your seat, snatch up the mug, put it to your lips, and swallow down the concern and confusion of all this going around you and how utterly calm everyone seems to be with it. And I would say, if you want to give me your strange roll, I'll pop back to Robert and Gregor. So you are both looking at the pyre. Kramer kind of studying it, and Gregor, are you just kind of vibing with this fire?
I'm just sort of entranced by, I guess, the body coming out of the fire.
That's fair enough. It's not really coming out as much as it is just kind of curled up in there. That's fair enough. If you want... Yeah, I'll tell you what. Kramer can give me a roll with strange. Gregor can give me a roll with real.
Alright. Okay, so let me... And it is 2d6 plus 2, correct?
Well, I was going to say that, and you may also throw in your self-taught warlock.
So that'd be 3.
Yes. And as far as Gregor goes, you throw in oral historian, so roll with plus 2.
Ooh. Yeah.
Damn!
Okay. So we'll start with Kramer.
Mm-hmm.
You are familiar from the hours you spent poring over dusty tomes in poky little libraries out in the middle of Eastern Europe and everywhere else you were able to kind of excuse yourself to go out to in the middle of your, while you were still an American academic and not just some pawn of the Soviet bloc. You are familiar with sacrificial rites. Sometimes they are denigrational. They are made to, in some way, belittle or destroy the subject of the sacrifice, to reduce them to something base and lesser. But those are normally where things are consumed and shit out. There's a kind of scatological almost part to them. This feels the other way. This feels celebratory. It feels like not a funeral, but a celebration where this death is a centerpiece. A kind of way in which it becomes more meaningful. It's hard to remember. You can't really put it all together, but something about the shape of this, it doesn't feel like anything you've read before, but it feels votive. It feels votive to the people, not to any particular spirit. It's very odd. It feels almost like someone's mashed a bunch of different ideas together, kind of a grab bag of different folk traditions, and this is the result. Gregor, you feel normally this kind of hunger, this kind of insatiable hunger, which is always kind of prowling and growling at the back of your mind, at the back of your body. as the smoke kind of billows out towards you, you feel your mouth get wet.
Oh no.
It's not the body, it's not the fire, it's the whole thing. This whole flame, this whole area is just leaving you salivating. But rather than when you would feel like an urge to just devour, to inhale, to consume, you feel the urge to savor. As if this is not merely food, but nourishment. It feels almost as if it's made for you, made for something like you. And I was going to say, you don't have any consequences, do you? No. I will say, to you, this feels like a big pot of stew, which someone somewhere is stirring and serving to everyone. It just is that you are significantly more attuned to it and more aware of it than everyone around you.
Well, shit, I immediately I'm gonna eat whatever this energy is, I guess.
Yeah, you can just open, like, it's almost as if it's in the smoke, as if it's in what's rolling out from the pyre, and as you open your mouth, it just rolls down your throat, up your nose. It just enters every part of you that you're willing to open up to it. And you feel fat and warm and full. And it's such a strangely alien feeling. As if your body had never been acclimatized to feel these things. Like it's reaching parts of your body you weren't aware of. Spilling just into every recess, every forgotten little nook and cranny of your body. Kramer, that weird old guy from the forest, you've heard like people talk about him, and you're pretty sure like he's some fucking weird thing that showed up here at some point. He's just kind of standing in front of the fire with his mouth open, his eyes shut, and he's just sucking in smoke. Alexei, you also see this. There is just an old man voring a bonfire. Well, not the entire bonfire, but at least the smoke.
No.
Or I suppose...
Well, he's old.
He's old, he doesn't care anymore. And Alexei.
Yes.
Right. Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Naturally, my body has to choose this one moment to rebel as loudly as fucking possible. You open up your senses.
You said... Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
If I'm going to roll for that, you said there was going to be a penalty for it. What would that... How much of a penalty?
It would have been a -1. Ah, there we go. So you open yourself up to the energies of this area. I'm gonna be straight with you then. You can see everything, but they can see you, or you only get a vague outline.
Give me a vague outline. I can't afford to be seen at this moment.
Okay. You close your eyes, and as you open up your senses, it's like trying to open up your mouth underwater. Just immediately, energy is just spilling into you. It's oppressive, it's hot, it's uncomfortable. You can feel the smoke choking you as it tries to find ways inside your body. And while you can at least understand that it is trying to do something beneficial. It's invasive, it's aggressive, and reflexively you just kind of pull yourself back, shut your mouth tight, hold your breath, and clatter back into your kind of chair, spilling your beer and knocking the food to the ground as Kirill is watching you with acute amusement. It went on a long way, hey?
Yes. Would you excuse me for a moment?
Oh, of course, whatever you want. I'm not your mom. You can go and make friends with other people. It's fine.
Alexi's going to make his way to where would I send him? He's going to make his way to like a nearby tree line or something.
Okay, so you're moving away from the crowd.
Yeah, he's going to move away from the crowd, and he's going to find somewhere dark and quiet.
Okay, sure, yeah. Yeah, the other two, you see Alexei move away from the fire. Well, you see Alexei react in that way and make his way off towards the tree line. The crowd tends to thin pretty quickly. The smell of wood smoke and the kind of noise of the crowd fades pretty rapidly as you move out towards the tree line, and as you are further and further from the warmth of the fire, the chill of the night air begins to kind of creep into the edges of your collar and around your cuffs as it starts to try and weasel its way into the warmth that's been trapped within your clothes.
What?
Back at the party, Kramer, you've been studying this. You've been kind of just standing there, just kind of staring at the fire in just academic confusion and curiosity, until you're broken by your reverie as Torin once again returns, taps you on the shoulder. Okay, you're going to have to come with me. He's not fucking moving until I get you.
Can I alert him to the presence of this body first before I get going?
Are you just going to kind of point at the... Like, how are you breaking this to him?
I'm probably just going to look at him and just say something along the lines of, you're not seeing the fucking corpse in the fire pit there?
Torin kind of looks confused for a second, stares at the fire, and Kramer, you see his face, like, he reacts, and then it goes. Like, the expression just rolls off of his face. And I'll give this to you for free. That kind of look is very similar to the way people look when you use your compelling voice on them. He is distinctly forgetting and choosing not to notice.
Oh.
Now, you figure you've used your compelling voice before. You have used it to, like, get people to see things they choose not to see.
Okay. Well, if he's instinctively choosing to ignore it, I guess for now, the best form of... What's up?
I was going to say, it's not him choosing it necessarily, but just something is causing him to not notice or forget.
All right. Well, in that case, if he's choosing to forget, is there a possibility that I could use a sort of incantation to make him not forget? Or would it be more so...
Oh, I mean, like, as far as you're, like, you have a bunch of different basic chants, incantations, that kind of thing, you know, for, like, for stuff like breaking enchantments and charms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you want to give me a roll with strange.
Yes.
And again, throw in your self-taught warlock.
All right, sounds good.
Fair enough. 8. So it does come to your... So you just kind of look at him for a couple more seconds and kind of come to a conclusion that something is stopping him from forming that memory. Like, his eyes almost skirt back to it a second and then keep going away. Like, he can't hold the thought in his head. And you do have a pretty good idea of something you could do to, like, help him see and maintain the memory. The problem is it might give people the wrong impression. As it would
Describe the wrong impression.
You would have to spit in his eyes and slap him around the face a couple of times.
How many people are in the area?
Oh, good couple of hundred. Like, this is a big fucking party. Now, admittedly, a lot of the people around here are just, you know, drinking, dancing. They're very much, like, just caught up in 101 other things.
I want to take my chance and do it.
Okay, so you're going to go...
They're all going to be drunk, so...
Cool, because you're drunk. This, I would have normally let you use compelling voice for a skill, but the problem is you're drunk, so your compelling voice is not fantastic right now. Give me a roll with real.
Okay, that would be...
That would be just a +0.
Alright.
Phew. Okay, alright. Either this doesn't work, and no one really cares, or it works, and you start a fight.
Start a fight.
Cool, yeah, just... not. Normally this would be more of a ceremonial kind of clap, clap, spit, but you are having a bit of a hard time focusing, and so you just kind of grab... You grab Torin by the collar, kind of hawk a really big, horrible, beery loogie into his face, and then just punch him in the side of the head. And the clout seems to do the trick. He does just kind of stagger, blink a couple of times, and kind of just mutters to himself, "Oh, why couldn't I?" And then you are just tackled off your bench by someone.
Shit.
Artemy is probably kind of somewhere in the background there, but Alex is nowhere nearby. Yeah, Gregor, if you're not too busy voring the bonfire, you see just Robert, this fucking academic just get tackled by some other guy out of the crowd, and then all around him it just seems that everyone just starts pushing, shoving, the occasional punch is thrown. The music kind of picks up to a whole new pace as a whole section of the party just starts kicking the shit out of each other, but in a kind of friendly way. There's a bit of wrestling, there's a bit of slapping, that kind of thing.
Okay, I understand that. I immediately want to escalate.
Would you pull a knife or something?
Fuck it, yeah.
No, I was joking. Okay, look. Okay,
Just like a bottle or whatever, like not hurting, but not.
Like I was gonna say, there's a lot of blunt objects around here you could clobber people with, and it probably wouldn't be quite so lethal. But
Don't.
Okay, yeah, no, if you want to... So, alright, so are we talking, like, staying human, but kicking the shit out of people, or are we employing, like, the tentacles in a kind of discreet way?
Oh, yeah, fuck it. I want to sneakily use the tentacles.
Cool, roll Fury and add tentacles, so roll +1. Yeah. Fuck me!
Holy shit.
Gregor has entered the server.
No.
Describe how you kick the shit non-lethally out of, like, a dozen people.
So, in my head, the Doom music starts playing. And
oh, hang on a second.
Like...
I was going to say, there's a fucking medieval cover of it as well.
That, essentially. And Yeah, I'm just like throwing bottles at people, like occasionally hitting them with like a nearby plank of wood, I guess, and like I'm using my tentacles to like trip people up briefly.
Excellent. You just lay waste to a group of people. It's perfect. Your tentacles augment your swings, so you are literally just kind of knocking people aside with what would to the average observer be like preternatural strength, but is just incredibly deft application of proper torque and kind of impact. And across from you, where the brawl is still spilling out, you do actually see Artemy just kind of picking someone up bodily and throwing them into a group of other people. Kind of looking perplexed, a little frustrated and annoyed that this is kicking off so close to his family. He kind of catches your eye from across the crowd and kind of almost with a look of impressive, look of surprise just passes across his face before he just beams and gives you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I could do with a hand putting down these rowdy idiots if you wouldn't mind, Gregor.
I'm sorry, I was looking for a meme. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna kick everyone's ass. Bring them here, I'll kick their ass.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So do you want to keep pressing on and just put down the entire fucking crowd with Artemy?
Fuck yeah.
Cool. I would say, throw in, give me another Fury, give me your Agile Tentacles again, and tell you what, because you've now kind of taken the control of the situation, take an extra +2 on this, because you got Pragmatic. It's like, you've started the steamroller, you're not stopping now.
So is that +3 in total?
That would be a +3 in total. Just rip and tear until it is the fucking hell.
Damn, Gregor.
So yeah, fucking Gregor and Artemy just kind of steam into the rest of the crowd, who are at this point mostly fighting you two. Kramer, you are like under a pile of other people who have just not been able to get out of the way fast enough, and like, there is a moment when you're pretty sure a tentacle just lifts one of the guys off you and throws him across the fucking field. But yeah, it's like a minute before you two have just completely cleaned the clocks of what has to be like 30-odd people, who are now in various states of unconsciousness and or disrepair. Like, there's like maybe one or two of them have broken bones. A lot of them are kind of blooded and bruised. No one's severely injured, but yeah, some people need to be carried to maybe to a hospital.
Right.
So yeah, Artemy just kind of who does actually kind of have I would actually say is not far off this, but with like a full beard as well. Just kind of, his breathing is a little heavy, just kind of claps his hands on his trousers to kind of get the worst of the dust and muss off them, and just grins over at you, Gregor. Oh, if I knew you could fight that well, I would have asked you a long time ago over to the local boxing circuit. My goodness, man.
I mean, to be honest, it's quite a shock to me too.
Didn't think you had it, didn't you, eh? Just kind of rams on it, like, doesn't ram it in, but definitely kind of elbows you in the ribs a little. Still fighting the old man yet?
Can I just be covered in blood?
I wouldn't say covered in blood, but like, you've probably got like blooded knuckles and a couple of splashes of blood on your face. Just from where you've knocked teeth out or like broken noses. Ugh. Well, it's never a good party until there's been at least one full-blown fucking fight, but I feel like that was excessive even for now. He just kind of looks around, looks down. Oh, I don't recognize you. He kind of sticks his hand down towards Kramer. My name is Artemy. Are you okay?
I
don't remember beating your ass. I think you were probably just in the middle of that. Sorry.
It's fine. I just gotta tell my chaperone up there something. While I'm sitting there, I'm pointing over to Torin, and I'm trying to get his attention.
I mean, Torin has just watched this entire thing unfold. He had unsnapped his Makarov, then just very deliberately snapped it back into place again. Like, no, I'm not fucking with that. I do not have enough bullets for those men. They are fucking terrifying.
I'm trying to scream at him to look in the fire and acknowledge that something is, not good.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, Torrent is, like, looking back and forth now between the fire and you, and is just, like, bug-eyed, like, shit, fucking shit, god damn. Right, you are coming with me, I am getting after us, and I am fucking getting you out of here. We are bringing back a fucking detachment of the fucking police. I cannot believe we allowed this whole thing to go on without any kind of supervision whatsoever. There's been fights, there's a body in the fucking bonfire,
That sounds good. I'll shake Artemis' hand and thank him for saving my ass. I might ask very slyly if he's seen a tentacle, and then I'll probably just make my way with Torin because I don't know exactly.
Well, it was not only me, it is also my good friend Gregor here. He did a fantastic job dealing with the other half of those idiots. I
see. Did you guys... I thought I saw a tentacle around here.
What are you talking about? I think you're mistaken.
Right. I'm gonna... okay. And I just, like, mentally note down to myself in my head whether, to maybe, possibly look into that. Maybe. But for now, I'm just grateful to not have, like, a bunch of Russian dudes, like, piled on me.
Getting pounded by a bunch of Russian dudes, huh? Yeah, I know that feeling.
Oh.
Welcome to the Gulag.
So yeah, then I'll probably just go over to Torin, and then, for now we head the hell out.
Well, there is. I was going to say there is one thing. There is one thing you'll need to do with, but I'll go back to Alexei, as Alexei's been out near the outskirts. As you've been heading away, you definitely heard something kick off, and then just a lot of shouting, the kind of distant thud of people being thrown in the air and then landing heavily on the turf.
Good lord. Alexei is going to, once he hits the tree line, he's going to find a comfortable place to sit, and he is going to begin manifesting his shaman form. I'm going to use this as a sort of... it's going to be spirit sense again, but it's going to be a more focused version of that, where he doesn't mind if he's noticed, and he can more clearly communicate with whatever entity or presence he senses, but he's far enough away that his physical body is not in danger.
Okay.
So he's going to sit cross-legged, and he's going to begin to measure his breaths, and he is going to look up through the trees at the stars, and he's going to open his ears and his mind, and he's slowly going to drift away from his physical body, and he's going to ask the entity or spirit or whatever, "What are you? What do you want?" And would you like me to roll?
Yes. What I will say, though, is... Because you are reaching out to these people. You're reaching out, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
In, like, dialogue.
Yes.
I'd actually say give me real.
Real? Uh-oh. Oops. There we go. Nope, I forgot the space. Eight.
Okay. And your shaman shape, it also sends you to, like, the other plane, doesn't it?
It allows me, at the very least, to get in contact with those planes. I assume the shaman is the crossroads where all three of the worlds meet.
Yeah.
Or all four of the worlds or whatever meet. And So should he need to descend to the lower planes, he can, or should he need to descend or ascend to the upper planes, he can. And this will be up to you, but I assume he can kind of sense which of the two realms, or not, or if they're outside of the two realms, that an entity could be from. But anyways, for now, he is just standing at the crossroads of this world and the unseen world, trying to get some kind of better sense of what this entity could be.
Okay. Out in the field, the sky goes on forever, gnashing jaws, consuming and moving, just brushing the tips of black trees which sway in a wind which never reaches your skin. The only thing of colour, the only thing that seems real, is a light out in this darkness, swaying and flickering, burning and consuming. And there are people around it, though they are barely shape. They are barely the suggestion of something having been there. Vague outlines, messy and indistinct. But there are 3 things you do see around this fire. 2 of them look uncannily similar. Same shape, same movement, but they are individually different and opposite. One is a living white, the white of milk, the white of teeth, the white of bone. It moves and surges and roils, fat and fed, warm and yielding. It is mother and it is life. The other is brown. The brown of fading leaves, of rotting apples, of soil churned and wetted, without turf, without rock. Rich with possibility, but also spent. And the shape itself is still, hard on the outside, with a almost imperceptible sense of movement around it, as if it was exhausted, spent. And whenever one moves, the other moves with it, almost as if they were offsetting each other as they spiral around the fire.
Alexei is going to repeat his question, or he's going to kind of reach out and repeat his question. What do you want?
We bring change. We bring the spring and the summer and the autumn and the winter. We bring birth and we bring death. We bring change to a place that has long since needed change. We bring these people the opportunity for change. We nourish them, says the light one, and we make them want to change, says the dark one. We are entropy, and we are improvement. What are you?
Hang on. Let me think. How's he gonna do this? I am the crossroads and the door. I am he who travels the axis mundi. I am the guide for spirits and the protector of this realm. I am he who brings balance to the spirits, and that's how he's going to end it. I am he who brings balance to the spirits.
The Dark One makes a sound almost like a scoff. There's kind of a... It calls itself change. It calls itself balance. It is a liar? It lies to itself, maybe. You speak of balance, yet you live in a land which is brutally unbalanced. That is desperate, dying. And yet you cling to some desperate, skinny little ideal that as long as there is light and dark in your little corner of the world, that it is the same for everywhere else. Look at this. The two part, and you see more clearly now the third entity.
Oh.
It is almost impossible to perceive. It is an absence of anything. Only perceptible by the hole it makes in the world around it. A ball of darkness that bends light around it, and yet at the periphery of it you can see thin strands seeking and kind of reaching towards the fire and almost drawing the light from the fire into it. They almost look like tentacles. And the light and dark spirits, although they have no features, although they have only the vaguest sense of a humanoid shape, you can feel contempt coming from them. Look at this. How can balance exist when you have something as this living on your doorstep? It eats, and it takes, and it doesn't even understand why it is hungry. It is simply a thing made to consume. I wonder how long this has been here, and you have not even noticed.
You know what? Having been challenged, Alexi is now he sees this dark, hungering void, and it distresses him more than these other two entities. Change in life. As much as they're kind of spooky, he's not gonna fight them just yet. But this hungry, all-consuming entity is something that disturbs and upsets him. So he, having been challenged by these other two sort of larger entities, is going to attempt to exorcise the hungry thing.
Okay. You fucked with the old man! Come get it, bitch!
I found the vibe I'm going for.
That vibe is violence, apparently. Okay. So I haven't done really contested roles in this system, but I guess you are both at Strange 2, I believe. Yes. Everyone decides to take Strange 2 because you're all fucking weird. So I'm going to be honest with you. This is just going to be a straight up... I don't think either of you have conditions at the moment. No. This is just going to be straight up 2d6 versus 2d6. Highest roll gets to call the toss.
Gotcha. Oh, I fucked that. I fucked it up again.
The pressure is overwhelming.
I have to type roll.
Yeah, you gotta type roll out.
Okay, and also you're not adding your... Well, I mean, you don't have to worry about your +2, but yeah.
There we go.
But gonna be hard to beat.
Bless you.
Oh, fucking hell. Right. Steve. You fucked it up!
You're pulling a nameless.
Put a space in between roll and 2d4.
All right.
There you go.
Ooh, well, I mean, at the very least, Steve, take a point of experience.
Yay.
Yay! Just Gregor, at the last possible minute, just as you're just enjoying this victory and just kind of feeling satisfaction in the way in which you just laid into these fucking humans, you are just... I mean, okay, Alexei, how do you engage with spirits you are exercising?
So there are two possible options. Mm-hmm. The first is to try and force it, not necessarily force it, but to offer it a way into one of the other realms. Usually the upper realm he starts with, because that is, the kind of synonymous with goodness and enlightenment and all that stuff, and has a very different, vibe to it than the lower worlds, which are sort of the dark underworld type places. If either of those two are not available to him, he will simply attempt to sort of chase the spirit away by having just a larger spiritual presence than it. Seeing as this is a kind of all-devouring dark mass, he's going to assume it comes from the lower realms or something like that, and offer it a way down, a way back to the primordial roots of creation.
You do that. You try to open a way for this thing to pass through. And as you do that, you feel something. It's impossible to see. It absorbs everything around it, but something is blocking it from moving between realms. Something is anchoring it here, binding it here. Unfortunately, the act of trying to move it is excruciatingly painful for Gregor.
Oh.
As Gregor, you feel like you are trying to exist in two places at once and neither is having a particularly good time. It's as if you are seeing two places, breathing through two sets of lungs millions of miles apart, and it's physically, perhaps, not the most unpleasant thing, but mentally, trying to keep yourself together, trying to keep yourself anchored, is taking a horrible toll on your mind. And I would like you to take a major condition. Bilocated. So not bilocated, bifurcated. I'll just write it there for you. Oh, hang on a second. There we go. Spell check. Yay. As it doesn't have any exterior physical harm on you, but it's bad. It's agonizing and horrifyingly disorientating. And even as it begins to subside, you still have the horrible feeling that you're also in another place, feeling the kind of that sixth sense of proximity, of things being near you, but you can't perceive them. Artemy does a kind of look at you for a second and go, "You fucking blurred there for a second. Are you okay? You need to sit down. I don't know what the fuck that was, but you need to sit down." Gregor, are you speaking or are you just quiet?
Sorry, was that me? Sorry, I thought you speaking. Ow, that was extremely painful. I don't know what just happened there. Kind of felt like for a brief second I too was in two places at once. That is not good.
You know what? I think we've all had enough fun for this evening. I'm going to get the family together. You can sleep in the cowshed tonight. It's warm. I put fresh straw in there. You'll like it. I think we just need to sleep off all this beer and possible head trauma. Right. I will just go and get the kids. You'll wait here, okay?
Okay.
And yes, around you, like, people are starting to kind of pick themselves up. Some people are starting to kind of scatter at the edges of the party. Everything does seem to be kind of de-escalating. Kramer, you were being brought to find Athanas and kind of get him to fucking leave, along with Torin. And Torin takes you through the crowd to where there's a table where Athanas is playing cards with a couple of other local farmers. He doesn't seem to have won particularly well. In fact, he has lost his jacket already, but seems to be having a good enough time that he doesn't necessarily mind. And it's only when he kind of clocks you two showing up that he kind of sighs, claps his kind of, like, throws his cards face up on the ground like, "I didn't have shit anyway." And kind of begins to kind of push his chair back. All right, mother, I'm coming. You found Mr. Kramer. I'm sure that's good news at the very least. He didn't get beaten up in that massive fracas I saw over there. Torin is giving off big single dad energy right now of, oh my god, I have to handle 2 fucking children now, not just one. It's still kind of holding Kramer's hand as he does all of this, just kind of reaches out kind of with the kind of grabby hand motion towards Athanas, who goes, shrugs, sighs, gives him his arm, lets him be walked away. And it's then, at that moment, Gregor and Kramer, and even as far away as you are, Alexei, even you hear this. A whistling at the beginning of a tune, just 4 notes, carrying again and again and again. And I'm just going to link something here, which I would appreciate if you did listen to as I describe this. Across the crowd, across and spontaneously, with no coordination, with no preamble, the people in this group begin to sing, each filling in their own particular place in the song, perfectly in harmony, a spontaneous choir, uplifted and buoyed, as you feel warm and connected to each one of these people, at peace, but also prepared for the coming year, for what change may come, for what good may be done, how the darkness will be chased back, but also how much better life can now be, that you should abandon fear, you should stand side by side with your brothers, your sisters, your fellow man. You should rise up and strike down those who hold your family, your people, your blood back. And that the land should rise up, and you should all together welcome the spring. Okay, I know that was only like an hour. I'm sorry, but
That's okay.
I had written a ton more,
yeah.
but I was like, if I launch into that, it's going to take way fucking longer. So I'd rather get into him fresh in a new session.
All right.
But yeah, how did that feel to everyone? We got some combat, we got some competing roles, we got some information.
Yeah.
We had some
We got some
role-playing.
Shakespearean misunderstanding.
I mean, no one was cross-dressing, so it wasn't quite Shakespearean, but I
There you
appreciate
go.
the feeling.
Not yet.
Not
That
yet.
was a tactic South American shamans used to do to confuse spirits is wear women's clothing.
But where the titty, though? Awesome. Any questions before I kill the recording? Any comments?
I have invented an attack, and I can't reveal what it is. Until the time comes, but
Look, I'm gonna say here, I'm not gonna X card consenticles, but I'm also gonna just judge you if you try and employ them.
you'll see.
Oh God! Just evil Steve noises. I'm very concerned now.
It's definitely playing off the Master Roshi vibe, I guess, at the moment.
Oh no! The tentacled granddad is horny. Oh God! No, I'm very scared.
I'll be honest with you. I don't really have much to comment about. I more so just want to see you wing it and see how it goes. But now I'm kind of interested to see I'm interested to see what's going on, man.
I
You
mean,
know,
I'd like to say if you, I won't say a huge amount, but I will say this. I've dropped a bunch of real-world information already in this scenario, which should clue you in as to what might be happening in the wider world right now. But we will come to that next time.